It is October the 14th. It is another beautiful, windy Monday here in the New Jersey area, but that only can mean one thing. It is time for another jam-packed, fun-filled episode of 609 Sports Talk, and it starts right now. Welcome in, everybody, back to another edition, episode number 12 of 609 Sports Talk, live here on Facebook and, of course, over on YouTube. We are coming to you guys live from Hamilton, New Jersey. Of course, this is the show where we unite fans, and as always, we ignite debate. And as always, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Mr. Kyler Adams. Mr. Adams, it is a beautiful, windy Monday.
Oh, yeah. A little chilly outside.
It's going to be a lot more chilly in about 5 to 6 hours. That fall weather's coming. It's packing a punch. But how are we doing on this Victory Monday?
Well, you said it. Victory Monday. It was an interesting game yesterday. Interesting after the game as well. But a win is a win. Dare I say it? I hate to say it, especially in regards to the Browns. But they got the W. So we move on and we look at what happened and what to expect.
That is true. Now, we're going to get into some NFL talk. There's, of course, some Eagles talk about a certain coach of ours. We'll talk some other major headlines around the league that's happened over the past week. There's a couple head coaching situations we got to talk about in the NFL. And, of course, we got to talk about what happened in the Detroit-Dallas game. Hitting home makes its triumphant return to Monday nights after, about a month or two? Yeah. I mean, I know George and I did the whole hitting home episode for the postseason, but just for the segment, it's the first time it's been back for a few weeks. I got some stuff to talk about for that. We'll talk the NFL headlines. We'll get into the new AP Top 25 poll, which, by the way, the screen name for me is all you got to know. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, with all this craziness, all the NFL talk, all Major League Baseball postseason, the NHL started on Friday and too. And so we have college football, which, by the way, again, I'm going to say it again, college football is the most entertaining it has been in 20 years. But besides all that, we have something else starting next week.
Oh, yeah.
The NBA season is upon us. The NBA season kicks off next Tuesday, I believe, right? Are those the first games?
Is that
opening night? And then everyone else starts off on that Wednesday? Night. It's either the 22nd or the 23rd.
It is the 22nd.
So it is Tuesday. So next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, the NBA season officially begins. So to get us all ready for the NBA season, we thought it'd be fun to have a couple of the next episodes be preview episodes. Next week, we'll save the best for last. Next week, we'll preview the bloodbath that is the Western Conference, because I don't know what I'm doing with that yet.
Yeah.
This week, it will be the complete Eastern Conference preview, which we are going to get started with right now. So I guess the big question is, to start off the show, Mr. Adams, the floor will be yours. Who is the biggest competition in the Eastern Conference to those damn Boston Celtics?
Oh, man. This is tough. I want to try to make some cases for a few teams, but it's going to be tough. I'm pulling up real quick just the whole conference here. Want to look at them. So the Celtics are just in a league of their own currently. Now there's one team I would say two teams actually that have geared up this past offseason to try to come for the throne. Those teams being the Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks. The Knicks had that blockbuster trade, bringing over Cat, and the Sixers have brought in Paul George. But the real question is the Celtics have so much depth on their team. And they've definitely won in the past with a lot less depth on the bench. But this season just seems like they have so many capable guys coming off the bench that I don't even know what the solidified starting five is going to look like.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one team that I could see going up against the Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to hold off from saying the Miami Heat, even though they're the only team that can seem to beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals in the past few years. I'm going to go with... I hate to say it. I really do. I feel like the Knicks will find their way in to the Eastern Conference Finals going up against the Boston Celtics. That's just my early reaction for it. The thing that I'm still on the fence about with the 76ers is your man, Joel Embiid. The regular season warrior. Always seems to come up short in the playoffs. Even if he's given it his all a few games and dropping 30 or 40, somehow injuring something by overexerting himself. The success of the Philadelphia 76ers is going to come down to the same guy that it's been coming down to since he's been on the team. It's going to be on Joel Embiid. There's really no excuses now. You got Nick Nurse. You got rid of Doc. You haven't had to worry about Ben Simmons in forever. Although he's still sneaking around somewhere in the league. He might play this season. It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know what team he's on. I forget.
He's on the Nets.
He's still on the Nets. Oh,
yeah, he's still on the Nets.
There's another team that I didn't think twice to mention in this conversation here. I think the Knicks are the biggest threat to him, but I still honestly don't see the Knicks beating them in a 7-game series.
I don't either. Here's my thought. First of all, I agree with you. I think the Knicks are more equipped to compete with the Boston Celtics. I like what the Sixers have done. I think the Knicks are a deeper team than the Sixers. The starting five, I think, is going to be fine. I love it's Joel and Maxey together. We already know. We already know where that's going. Paul George is the exact guy that we had to. Dennis, how are they in trouble already? We haven't even started.
Oh, man, he's calling you out for not decorating the wall. So,
next week it will be there, okay? Stuff will be here next week, okay?
Dennis, in case if you're not hanging around later when we get to our Eagles breakdown again, Reed Blankenship played great yesterday. You know why? Because he didn't make any mistake. He didn't make any mistakes. And you're right, the secondary didn't really make any mistakes.
Huh.
So, yeah, guess what? Reed Blankenship didn't have to get the game-sealing interception for once. That's great.
But to go back to what we are talking about, this came out today. Joel Embiid did say he's probably never going to play a back-to-back again in his career.
Really? That's
cool. Cool. That's cute.
I'll say this, right? I get it. We all say the NBA nowadays, it's nothing like back in the days. All the players are soft. It's just the way it's gravitated towards. But in regards to Joel Embiid's injury history, I think this is the best thing that he could do to try to get his body into the playoffs to be able to play. forget winning MVP during the regular season. Forget trying to play as many regular season games as possible. Yes, I get it. He has to play to impact his team and help his team out. But if he misses some back-to-back games, if it keeps him healthy longer the rest of the season, and you get a consistent play out of him when he's out there, I think it's a good game plan.
I agree too, because he doesn't care about winning the MVP award. He got that already. Still don't think he should have won it, but that's not a matter anymore. It's all about winning a championship. That's been the damn goal here since day one, is to win a championship. And I'm also one of the ones that personally think, I don't think Joel Embiid has been criticized enough for his performance in the playoffs. It's always he gets the excuse bug here. We get excuses for him. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You want to say he's hurt, that's fine. But, I watched a guy win a Super Bowl with one arm. I saw Alshon Jeffrey tear his rotator cuff and be just fine.
Yeah, that is true.
Bryce Harper just took the Phillies to the World Series 2 years ago with a complete tear of his UCL in his elbow. And had to learn a whole new position. Look, no one loves Joel Embiid more than me. But I'm getting real sick and tired of this crap every year. Not saying look, I don't hate Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid gives you the best chance to win right now. You didn't sign Paul George to get rid of Joel Embiid. Anyone thinks that's an idiot. Now the excuses are out the door, because now you've got your guy. You have your star player, that is Joel Embiid. You have that number 2. Tyrese Maxey's turned to a superstar. Oh, yeah. Tyrese Maxey is going to be a superstar, if he isn't already. And now you have that guy, the third guy. You got Paul George, who, by the way, is probably the best fit for that role. It wasn't Ben Simmons. It sure as hell wasn't James Harden. And it definitely wasn't Tobias Harris. Paul George is the perfect number 3 option on this team. He can space the floor to give Maxey and Embiid room to run. He can play outside. He can score at will. He shoots well from 3. He's versatile on the defensive end. He can guard 1 through 4, depending on who you're matching up with that day. Yes, he's a little older, but again, at 34, he's the 3. He's not the 1.
Asking him to be a 3, that's a good situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So apparently,
he knows that.
Says he's got a screenshot of you saying you want Harris back, Sam.
Yeah, okay. Even everybody knows that would never. Those words will never utter out of my mouth. I'm the biggest Tobias hater you'll find, because I can't stand Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris may actually be the worst contract in sports history.
Yeah, that contract didn't age well.
Although I will say, not going to sit here and talk about Trey Turner in a couple years too.
Yeah,
that's not trending well either.
Yeah, that's not.
What's up, Clint?
What's up, Clint?
Jack Youngblood played a Super Bowl on a broken leg. Fragile and Embiid needs to worry about choking again in the first round.
Yeah.
Clint, we'll give him some credit. They sometimes get to the second round.
But then he's still choking.
Everything. Oh, exactly. It's everything past that.
The Eastern Conference Finals don't exist.
And our 50-year-old commenter here, I'm sorry, Dennis.
Oh, man. Whoa.
I was told to respect my elders, okay? But no. I personally, there's a lot of pressure on this Sixers team now.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Clint, robbed is an understudy. It's an understatement. My mistake. It's an understatement. Tobias Harris could not have been the worst fit for this team. Because, when I saw Tobias Harris with the Clippers, guy spotting up in the corner, shooting 40% from 3. Then all of a sudden, he comes here and he forgets how to do that. Now, when he first came here, could we agree with something? A team that had Butler and Embiid and Simmons and Harris, those 4 don't really sound like they mesh to me. There's not enough shooting in that team. But can we think about that? I wouldn't think that those four were going to win anything together because there's not enough floor spacing.
No.
The only floor spacing you have was JJ Redick. Hey, I'm not. I love JJ was one of the Sixers' best signings when they first had Embiid and Simmons.
The JJ fadeaway screen.
Oh yeah, not more automatic in basketball. But then they just could not find the pieces. The best chance the Sixers had with Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris was the year they had Danny Green and Seth Curry. They had shooters. And that's all we've been saying about Joel Embiid. You got to surround him with shooters. And you got to surround him with good defenders. Paul George, good defender. Tyrese Maxey, willing defender. Still has room in that area, but he's a willing guy. This isn't Marco Bellinelli. The guy's going to defend.
Yeah.
Caleb Martin, nothing but a defender. Kyle Lowry, scrappy defender. Andre Drummond, one of the best rebounders in the NBA.
Yep.
Reggie Jackson, he'll defend a little bit. So, like, the Sixers, the only thing that concerns you with the Sixers is that depth on the second unit. I think Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry will help with that. And Kelly Oubre, because from what Matt was saying last week, it really sounds like Eric Gordon may open the season as the starting shooting guard. And if they're doing it to balance out the rest of the lineup, I'm cool with it. I wanted Kelly to be on the bench last year all season. Now, things happened to where they had to put him in the starting lineup, injuries, whatnot. But I think the Sixers are better suited with Kelly Oubre coming off the bench. He adds that second unit balance that you desperately need. Because, I mean, if you have a starting five of what? Maxey, Gordon, George, Martin, Embiid. That's a pretty good damn five.
Yeah.
So, I personally think that the Sixers could be that team. I would love for them to be. But, again, it's still the Sixers. I think right now they're more worried about finding their new arena, which is still the most ridiculous thing in the NBA. Because the sports complex in South Philadelphia is the greatest thing known to man in the world of sports. And the fact that the Sixers want to move them to Center City, which will be the biggest cluster you-know-what in the world. Center City's already a mess.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all right, Matt, I'm fine with that, too. I mean, if you want to put your best five out there, but I personally would like to have some balance on this roster.
That's going to be a big lineup. I mean,
that's a big ass line. That's all. We're defending guys for days. I mean, they could all hold hands and just lock up the whole perimeter with those guys. That's length. Caleb's got length. Oubre's got length. Paul George is lengthy as hell. Maxey's got length, and Joel's a freaking centipede. And here's the other thing with the Sixers, and then we'll move on to more of the Knicks and the Celtics, and then we'll get into like the teams that we think will be in the other. What's the play-in? Is that 6 through 10?
No, it's 7 through something. 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 through 10. That's what it is.
Can I just say that the play-in is stupid?
It is, but it's grown on me in the recent years because it's kind of. It puts teams on the hot seat, right? So let's say you're the 8th seed. You're barely squeaked in. Let's say you got like 1 or 2 wins on the team that's at 9. You have to play them to secure your spot. I don't mind it. If the team deserves to be in the playoffs, they're going to win that game. That's all. The Hawks got
him with 38 wins last year.
Hey, and they made it in, and then they got knocked out. But hey, don't forget the 1 year. The Heat. Don't forget the Heat had to play in the 1 year. They got the 7th or 8th seed.
They're winning record.
Well, exactly, and I mean I get what you mean with the crappy record making it in. I don't like that. But when you got teams that are right on the brink who might have a winning record, but they're just a few games behind, I like to see those teams get a shot. Because, yeah, you're right. Any team could get lucky on a given night.
Anthony said the Lakers live off the play. Oh, I can't wait to talk about the Lakers next week. I got to ask questions. I need answers.
Yeah. But, all right, here's the other thing about the play-in, too. If you're already the 7th or 8th seed, you only have to win 1 out of 2 games. 1 out of 2 games. You get 2 chances to secure your spot. If you lose both of those games, am I supposed to really feel bad for you? It's not like you lose one and you're done. If you're already at the 7th or 8th seed, you literally play 2 games. If you win the first one, you're in already. If you lose that, you still have that chance to play that for that 8th seed.
Well, that's like the comparison with baseball, because if you're the top 2 seeds in the National League or the American League, you got to wait a week to play. And all Philly fans are turning into Braves fans because, we lost to the Mets because we freaking had a week off. Really? Because the other top 3 seeds are all in the LCS right now. We're sitting at home. No, you lost because you got beat. Yeah. Same thing to the Braves the last 2 years. You lost because the Phillies. Kudos to the Mets. I'm talking about last year in 2022. When it comes to the postseason, the Braves call the Phillies daddy because they own them in the postseason. They have not beaten the Phillies in the postseason in franchise history.
Wow.
The Phillies have destroyed the Braves in the postseason from last year to 22 to 93. We've always owned the Braves in the postseason.
Wow.
I don't. Why should a team that won 36 games get rewarded for that? I guess that's how I look at it.
Well, like what Matt just said there, if one team won 41 games, the other one won 36, okay, that's a 5-game difference.
Matt, I'm talking more about this later on, trust me.
But
I never want to go to London again.
Oh, gosh. But it's only a 5-game difference. I mean, it's not like we're talking about a 10-win difference here or something absurd. Like a 5-win difference, that's not a whole lot.
My only thing is, and I say the same thing with baseball, you're just giving these owners more willingness to be cheap.
Yes, Matt, I said only because they still have to win both games, like I said. They can't just win 1 game and make it into the play. They have to win 2 games. And those 5 games that separate them with the wins, those games could have been decided by like 1 or 2 points. They could have been games that there was just a couple different mistakes that could have tilted the sway of the game where they could have won it. So yeah, 5 games really isn't that much. And like I said, if you're a 7th or 8th seed, if you can't win 1 game against a team that has less wins than you, why should you deserve to be in there? Because you scraped out 5 more wins than them during the regular season? They earned it technically. Like, I get it in the old ways, right? You have to have more wins during the regular season. But if you got a team that's at the 8th seed and they got 41 wins, that's not special. If there's another team that's going to play harder than them to try to bump them out, bump them out. I'm okay with it.
But here's the other problem. That same team that won 36 games, I'm sorry, it's the NBA. 36 wins stinks.
Yeah, I mean, 41 kind of stinks too.
And guess what? That same 36-win team may have a top 12 draft pick next month. What is that? How about play better and you get one of the... Look, you've already got 8 teams. You're telling me you can't get one of the first 8 just to get in the damn thing? Okay, all right, let's go with this. You can try to sell me on the play-in. Don't tell me the in-season tournament's a good idea. This ain't college.
No.
That is stupid.
The in-season tournament is useless.
Thank you. At least we can agree on something. Real quickly, Clint said he likes to play in the season tournament on the other hand. Thank you, Clint.
Yeah. That's the comment right there. +1. Love it.
Oh, it's like, again, like, now, look, you could make the case that, because I'm sorry, if baseball was the old format, Mets aren't even in the playoffs this year. Neither the Braves. Neither the Diamondbacks.
But it makes it more interesting.
Okay, but
Because
hold on.
like what the Mets did this year, right? That's
Okay.
what the Heat did a couple years ago. They went all the way to the finals.
You had. Oh my God. Okay, Tyler. The Mets won 89 games this past year. The Diamondbacks won 80. The Diamondbacks won the same amount of games the Mets are in the playoffs right now. The Braves won 90. They're still winners. The Heat had a winning record. The Hawks last year won 37 games. How are we awarding teams that came in 41-41? I've seen plenty of 41-41 teams get in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think the play-in is more exciting for the Western Conference because they have a lot more teams that do have better records.
Right, because you could have 52 wins and be the 8th seed.
Yeah, but then I get what you're saying about the East. Aside from your top 6 to 8 teams.
There's 4 teams in the East, when healthy, that could compete with the West. 4. The Heat?
Yeah. I wasn't even talking about competing with the West.
You had the Heat in my head because you were talking about them. The Celtics, the Sixers, the Knicks, and when they're healthy, the Cavaliers. Living in Pistons country, what is this to you, Peter?
Zolt, at least you got the Lions. That's all I can say.
It's not hold on. Yes, but it's not a good day in Zolt land. Zolt's having a rough couple days. What happened in that game yesterday? Tigers lost game 5.
Yeah.
It's Pistons are the Pistons have Tobias Harris now, so maybe I'll tell you right now, that son of a bitch shoots 40% from 3-point land this year. I swear to God, I'm driving to Detroit. I will find an Uber to Detroit. Clint said, what year was it when a team in the West won 48 games and missed the playoffs? Oh, when was that? He's right though. That's what the West is.
Yeah.
Anthony said that's all the sports West has better teams than. Oh yeah, it is. The only sport I would say maybe that the East is better than the West is baseball. There's way more teams in the East better. Outside of the Dodgers and Padres, you got the Phillies, you've got the Braves, you've got the Mets, you've got the freaking Brewers. I think the Brewers are frauds. You have the Yankees. You've got teams in the East in baseball that are better.
The Red Sox.
Not right now.
Not right now, but in the past.
Yeah, when they wanted to spend money. George, what's up, Georgie? Georgie's in here giving Zolt. He's giving Zolt some issues. And Matt's just enlightening me that Tobias Harris shot 3 for 9 last night. That's great.
What team is he on?
The Pistons. I just said it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's on the Pistons.
Oh.
Again.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, so, and look, guys, whoever your team is, chime in, throw comments, and come join the chat. Whatever you want, you bring up, we'll talk about. My last word on the Sixers. This is a big year for Joel Embiid that needs to result in something more than a second-round exit. Because this is getting ridiculous.
They got to, at the very least, make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in how long?
At this point, you got to win it.
I mean, it would be nice if they could win it, but at least show some progress.
This is the most complete team the Sixers have surrounded him with. And I would like to say something before we move on to the other teams that we're talking about. And I understand that Philly gives Daryl Morey a lot of problems. What have I always told you? Matt's going to agree. What have I always told you about Daryl Morey? He didn't hire Doc Rivers. He didn't give Tobias Harris the worst contract known to man. He didn't draft and have to deal with Ben Simmons. As a matter of fact, even though James Harden turned into a head case, the value he got back for Ben Simmons was actually great. This was the first these last couple of years were the were the time that Morey had his time to put his team together. Now, he had to wait for the Tobias Harris contract to come off the books completely. We knew that. But what did he do the year before? He got his coach. Kyler, the moment they fired Doc Rivers, what was the first name out of my mouth that I said?
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse. No one else. I wanted Nick Nurse. Boom. Darryl made it happen. Now, the Tobias contract's off the books. What does Joel Embiid need to win a championship? He needs – almost every team now has 3 really good players. Well, you drafted one, which, again, if COVID doesn't happen, I don't think Tyrese Maxey's there. So I'm not trying to sound like an ass. You kind of lucked into him. So you have Tyrese Maxey. You need the number 2. There it is. You need the number 3. It's not Tobias. You go get Paul George. Oh, he's 34 years old. Okay, yes. He's not coming. You're not asking to be Indiana Pacer Paul George.
Yeah, you're not.
You're asking him to come in and play a role as that third budding star behind Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Paul George knows this. Trust me, Paul George has got away from a team with 2 of the fakest superstars in league history. And I'll get to them next week. But that is what he wanted to get, that third star. He got it. So after you put your 3 guys around him, what do you need? Well, you need defenders. Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin. Kyle Lowry is still a decent defender. Reggie Jackson is at least willing to defend. They drafted the kid McCain from Duke, who's nothing more but a great shooter and a good defender. Now, not sure how much run he'll get early, but it's a good pick. You get Andre Drummond to come back up Embiid. And Paul George can defend himself. You need shooters. Paul George, good shooter. Tyrese Maxey's developed into a good shooter. Kyle Lowry still can shoot the 3. Reggie Jackson still can shoot the 3. Caleb Martin, sometimes he looks like Michael Jordan.
Sometimes.
Another guy who can knock down threes at least a 35% clip. That's what they needed. This is the first team that Daryl Morey's actually assembled on his own. Like I said, he didn't do all those last things. He didn't pay Tobias. He didn't pay Ben Simmons. He didn't freaking sign Doc Rivers. He inherited a mess. This is the best team the Sixers have had since Embiid's been here. Can we agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
I honestly think the second best team they had was Embiid's second year with Simmons and Covington and Saric and Redick. That was the second best team. And Ersan Ilyasova. Remember that name?
Oh, Ilyasova.
Because when you surrounded him and Ben with shooters, they were lethal together. Then when you start taking the shooters away, it got worse because Ben wouldn't shoot. Tobias was inconsistent. Joel couldn't. Joel has never been able to dominate in the low post because he's had to always play the stretch 5 to Ben Simmons. This is the best team Joel Embiid's had in his career. And it's time to pony up now because you just got another max extension a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to pony up now. Are you going to be that guy? Oh, man, had a little bit of a rant going there. Whew.
Oh, man. We didn't even talk about the Phillies yet. We're in for one tonight.
Nah, we'll be okay. Get to some comments real quick. Zolt said Lions are okay. Just going to raid teams already. Out of the playoffs like the Titans, Raiders, and Browns. Matt said, if and a big if we stay healthy, we will make the Eastern Conference Finals. I hope so. I've heard this story 16 times, and I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I'm not saying they won't. Anthony said if Mr. Triple Single for the Nets don't do good this season, he needs to retire. You're killing the game for the other guys. Wait, did you call him Mr. Triple Single?
Triple single. Sometimes quadruple single.
Yeah, right. Matt says 22 a night is exactly what we need. I'm assuming that you're talking about George. And Matt did say when Martin plays Boston, he turns into MJ. Oh, yeah, he turns into 60 points MJ. So now, speaking, we do have some NBA news. It's not Eastern Conference, but it's NBA news.
What's that?
Apparently, the Kings point guard De'Aaron Fox turned down a $165 million extension.
Really?
He turned it down because if he makes the All-NBA team this year, he could earn a $345 million supermax next summer.
Smart.
Talk about betting on yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tyler, let's move on to the next team that you have ahead of the Sixers. So do you out of these three, do you have the Sixers finishing third behind the other two?
Yeah.
That's fair. What's up, Dalton?
What's up, Dalton?
Go, guys, also, don't forget, go check out Dalton, Holland, and our friends over the 302 Birds podcast. Those guys are great. Philly sports culture for days, and they are just a great group of people. Dennis, of course, is also a part of that as well. Told you that in the past. Go check out our boys. They're good. They're good people over there. Been on their shows plenty of times. It's a fun time. Especially when you got us all ranting about the Phillies. But we'll get to that later. So let's go on. Let's move on to the Knicks. Why do you think the Knicks have a better edge over the Sixers? I'm just curious. I'm not knocking. I agree with you.
There's one name and one name alone. Precious Achua. I just pulled up the roster. That's the first name that I saw on there. No, but on a serious note, I mean, I like how they've restructured their team because with Julius Randle, they were just treading water. Jalen Brunson took over as the quote-unquote king of New York. He became the guy. Now bringing in Cat with him, having, good supporting cast. They got TJ Warren. Who else? They got Cameron. Probably be coming off the bench. Yeah. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I mean, what's their starting lineup going to even look like? I'm assuming, do you think they'll have Cat and Mitchell Robinson on the floor at the same time?
No.
So I guess Cat's going to be the starting center, starting power forward. They don't really have many power forwards. They got a few small forwards.
Their starting five is going to be Brunson, Hart, OG, Bridges, and Cat.
Yeah. So a bit of a smaller lineup.
They're gonna wing guys out the building.
Yeah.
Literally. They're gonna have so many wing players out there. They are going to be a hard team to match up against any night.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, just aside from that, they still got good depth on the bench with, TJ Warren, Mitchell Robinson,
Miles McBride, Jericho Sims are still there.
Too, yeah.
Man, I just guess. Look, Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges have all played power forward. Can we agree? It's a positionless league now.
It is.
The only time there's a position is if it's a center, because he's like freaking.
I think OG will definitely be the power forward for them.
I'll
tell you what, Precious Achua isn't starting.
Achua, thanks.
Yep. No, one guy I'm not mad that the Heat parted ways with.
And again, you have Tom Thibodeau leading the charge there. Tibbs has actually had a really good run with New York right now.
Yep.
The only thing you got to ask yourself, though, is
Jalen Brunson. Toppin.
Yeah, that's not Obi Toppin.
Oh, wait, it's Jacob Toppin. Wait, yeah, what? Hold on.
Obi's on the Pacers.
Oh, he's on the Pacers now. So what, is this his little brother or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
man, TJ Warren isn't like... TJ Warren's not a world beater, but if he gives you a solid few points off the bench with some decent shooting, it's a decent grab.
He's a good floor spacer off the bench.
Well, he was at least. Just for curiosity. All right, last year TJ Warren only played in 11 games.
Was he hurt?
TJ Warren is... Honestly, he averaged 3 points per game last year.
In 11 games.
Tyler, he may suck.
Did he get hurt?
I don't know. He hasn't been the same since the bubble. That bubble was so bizarre for so many players.
Yeah.
And Matt's confirming, yeah, Jacob is Obi's little brother. So I felt like the Knicks last year. The only thing is, will Cat be able to adjust to the Thibodeau system? Because
Same. Did Thibodeau not used to coach Cat?
how'd that work out?
It didn't work out well. I will say Cat has came a long way since then. It will still be interesting to watch to see, is Cat going to be able to transition back into that? Because obviously we don't want to see the Cat that we saw back when Thibodeau was there. That's a regress. That's not going to help them go anywhere.
Now, was that Thibodeau's fault, Cat's fault, or a certain player on Miami's fault?
I mean, I think
he was involved in that too.
I think Jimmy called out a lot of BS that was going on there, and that actually sparked some change for that organization.
Yeah. The other thing you got to ask yourself, right, is Jalen Brunson going to be that guy he was in the playoffs? Is he going to give you 25 a night now?
I think so.
I don't know if he will.
I think he's going to average like 20 or 22. Maybe not 25, fair. But
no.
If you're averaging me over 20 points a game, that's really solid. Especially with, the kind of other players they have on that roster. Like, you're going to get another 20 plus out of Cat. Out of Michael Bridges, you're probably going to get another 20 out of him. That's already 60 points a night out of 3 guys. Josh Hart's going to get you points.
I'm booting the next guy that calls him Michael Bridges. It's Mikel.
Mikel?
Don't disrespect my Nova man's name.
Why doesn't he have an E in there then?
He does.
It's an A. It's not an E.
Well, it's Mikel, not Michael.
McCall
Bridges. There you go. But no, what I want to see with the Knicks, here's the thing with the Knicks, right? And I'm not saying Cat's going to still get hit. But just because you average 20 points a game on a team doesn't mean you're actually a good fit for the team. All I'll say is, I don't remember when Thibodeau coached the center and gave him touches. Okay? I think the best teams that Tibbs has coached, the center didn't give 2 shits about their offense. Hartenstein last year, Joakim Noah in Chicago. Joakim Noah was getting MVP votes when Tibbs was there. Dude was averaging like 10 points, 11 rebounds, like 6 assists is when D Rose was hurt, of course, and like 2 blocks. The dude was one of the best defensive bigs in the league. Hartenstein, I compared what he was doing last year with Hartenstein to what he was doing with Noah in Chicago. I don't know if Tibbs really is a big fan. I don't know if that's how he runs his team with a big man that scores like Cat does.
Well, trust me, there's no way you're going to trade for Cat and not plan on giving him touches.
Well, I know that. I just saying. Here's the thing. Did Tibbs tell them he wanted him, or did the Knicks ownership tell them that they wanted him?
I would hope that he had some sort of approval and say-so in there.
It's James Dolan, dude.
Because the Knicks are kind of like the Sixers. They had to change something. Something needed to change. So if Tibbs has to reinvent his coaching style and the way he plays his team, he's going to have to reinvent it. Or else, guess what? They ain't going to go anywhere.
Now, hold on. I'm not agreeing with that.
No, I believe the Timberwolves took a step back.
Yeah, I was saying the T-Wolves took the bigger step back. Because I'm going to keep telling you people this, and I don't know how many more people I got to tell. Timberwolves fans, I'm sorry. Julius Randle stinks. Like, the guy actually stinks. Because and Matt, the reason I have to disagree with you, the Knicks got better when he went away. When he didn't play, they got better. Brunson emerged.
That's what I was actually going to point out, is I don't think it's fair to say he stinks, but I think his ego and his play style is what makes him detrimental to a team that he's on. Because if he could just play his role and do him, well, actually, no, not do him, because if he does that, then it's just going to be fadeaway threes and like 20% shooting from 3-point range. But if he could just, find his efficient play style, he's a really good player. but the
right,
Knicks definitely upgraded.
Here's the thing with this right here with the fit with Towns. I think Towns actually does fit the Knicks. He's a stretch. He can stretch the floor as a 5, which gives Brunson all the room to operate. Brunson, he can shoot the 3, but he loves operating in the mid range. That's his area. All I'm saying is, my thing with them is I don't know if he fits what Thibodeau wants. They desperately want to keep Isaiah Hartenstein. They were so upset that they lost him because of all the little things that he did. Hartenstein did all the little things that I don't know if Towns does. That's where I'm questioning the fit. I agree with Matt to an extent.
I agree too. That's why I said Thibodeau's going to have to change his coaching style a little bit and his play style.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to make. He doesn't need to reinvent the wheel, but he's going to have to make small adjustments to get the most out of Cat and the rest of the team.
Yeah,
I agree with what Clint just said too. Cat is going to be more willing to take a backseat role than Randall would have ever been.
Oh yeah, no. You know what it was? Julius Randle signed out a ridiculous contract his first time in New York, and he thought he was the best thing in New York since Melo.
He did. And he honestly was the only bright spot in New York for a while until Jalen Brunson showed up.
Nice going, Maverick.
Yeah. Good job, Mavs.
Now yeah. Oh, we got Kyrie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, we'll see how well that works.
Yeah. Kyrie hasn't won anything since a certain 23 left, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I don't like if you look at it like okay, I'll be real. You put a guy like Steve Kerr coaching the Knicks, oh man, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death. But Tibbs, I just don't know if Tibbs and Cat. I don't think the issue in Minnesota was Tibbs and Cat. We know who the issue was. That was Jimmy and all of that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say what Clint just said. I'm gonna say
yes.
I see a scenario where at some point they have Cat and Robinson on the floor at the same time.
They may have to, but then
certain teams they go up against, Cat's not going to be able to hang. Like the Sixers, he's not going to be able to hang.
Oh my God!
So they might need to start Robinson and Towns out there so that Robinson can try to do his best to slow down and beat.
Yeah, but then you're asking Cat to guard on the wing. Good luck.
Yeah. Then that's
the Sixers. The Celtics and the Sixers could now look. I get it, but the only team that could match up well with that would be the Celtics if the Celtics still start Porzingis and Horford together, which I don't know if they will. Horford. I mean, there's a lot of tread on those legs now for Al Horford.
Yeah.
But I mean, since we just brought them up, why don't we move into the Celtics for a minute here? We still keep talking about the Knicks and the Sixers, of course. Then we'll just go down a few other teams that we think are going to be interesting, and then we'll move into some other topics. But
Miami,
reigning champ, I hate them. Oh, I absolutely despise them. But you got to respect them. They are, of course, the standard in the East. You know. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Jason Tatum, freaking Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. The fact that the freaking Bucks gave them Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I don't know how they.
Well, Portland gave them Drew Holiday. Anthony, they tried to do it, but no team was willing to meet that offer. So, Marketing now can't be traded, and his new contract for I forget, but he can't be traded now. So,
wow.
Now, if I'm looking at the Celtics, I think they'll be all right, but Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Tatum, Porzingis, and I guess Horford are the starting 5. Their bench isn't that. I mean, they'll have a bunch of bozos. Just some bozo will come off the bench and score 12 because that's who they are. But Peyton Pritchard's probably their main guy off the bench. They have Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
Derek White will probably be
Derek
off the
White,
bench
oh,
unless
yeah.
they start. Was that?
Oh, yeah, definitely Derek White. I don't know. I could see a scenario where they start White and have Drew as the sixth man off the bench.
Nah, if anything, I have Horford on the bench and Porzingis at center, and then I have Tatum, Brown, White, and Holiday. Drew Holiday's not a bench player.
Okay, so you playing Tatum at the 4, Brown at the 3.
What's it matter?
You're right. I mean, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to adjust for certain teams, but
they match up with those three teams match up perfectly against each other with that. If the starting fives were Porzingis, and I'm only saying Porzingis because Horford's like 36 years old. If you have Porzingis, Tatum, Brown, White, Holiday,
Horford's
New York,
actually
you got
38 years old.
What? Excuse me. That was the second worst contract in Sixers history. But either way. Then you go to New York, right? Cat, Bridges, Anunoby, Hart, Brunson. Then you go to Philly, Embiid, Martin, Oubre, Maxey. Like, those teams, all three of those teams can match up well with each other. They got the shooting, the floor spacing, the versatility on both sides of the floor, and one traditional big. Those three teams would beat the crap out of each other in a 7-game series. Real quick, Matt said, Boston is a team you have to respect, but I will say they will not repeat, especially if the East is healthy. I agree. I think there's... Matt says he's echoing what I said, and then Clint came back and said that easily Drew starts because of his defensive ability. Of course. What about you? What are your thoughts on the Celtics?
I mean, do I think they could go back to back?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard this year because they beat up on a banged up Bucks team. The Bucks are still a team we have not talked about yet.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bucks, to me, they've gotten weaker since they lost Holiday.
Oh no, we know why the Bucks are in a bad spot, and we'll get into that in a second.
But yeah, Boston did have a cakewalk. You know, they had another team handle their dirty business, knocking out Miami. So the Celtics had to play Miami. Oh, that's Game 7 right there.
So, I guess to move on into the rest of this teams, I mean, because I think we're all in agreement. It's going to be the Knicks, it's going to be the Celtics, and it's going to be the Sixers. I think those are the top three teams in the East. Why are we not talking about Milwaukee? They just won the title 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, but a lot has changed since then. I mean, if looking at their starting five coming into this year, you got Dame, who they just acquired last year. You got Gary Trent Jr. as your 2 guard, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and they still got whatever Brook Lopez is doing. He just seems to just never age, and he's just always there.
And he shoots 45% from 3.
Yeah, just insane. But, I mean, you look at the depth of them, Bobby Portis, I guess, is coming off the bench.
Bobby Portis is still really solid.
He is. But who else? Like DeLon Wright? Who else is
DeLon
coming off your bench?
They have DeLon Wright. They have
Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, Pat Connaughton's still there. Taurean Prince is there now. The Bucks' biggest issue is always going to be, can they stay healthy?
Yes, with Dame, now Giannis, and Middleton, that'd be 3 guys who just always seem to somehow get banged up.
Chris Middleton reminds me of Keenan Allen. Never saw a strained hamstring he didn't want to say. Now, Matt, I will disagree with one thing. Middleton is actually a solid defender, but the dude can't stay healthy. Oh, Anthony's dropping bombs. Giannis is overrated.
You know, as more and more teams figure out his play style,
which is basically just an offensive foul every possession.
yeah, I mean, he's kind of just like a running dunker. I mean, he's very lengthy, but he still hasn't developed his shooting the best. Which, if he was ever able to develop that, he would just be almost unstoppable.
Yeah. And I think Damian Lillard, clearly Damian Lillard in that trade was the better player.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 609 episode we did before going away was we talked about this trade. Matt, you've been saying it for about 6, if I count right, 6 here. Like I said, Damian Lillard may have been the better player in that trade, but Drew Holiday was the better fit with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because notice something. Everywhere he's gone, he wins.
Also, scapegoating your coach doesn't really help either.
No, that is not. No, stop. What they did to Griffin, that is not freaking scapegoating. You were 30-13. Scapegoating is firing somebody that you think is the problem. Like, I'm sorry. Do you think the Toronto Raptors were a mess because of Nick Nurse? They still stink.
No.
That's a scapegoat. Every coach LeBron James has had not named Eric Spoelstra is a scapegoat. How you fire your head coach when you have the best record in the league and you replace him with Doc freaking Rivers? That's the guy you chose to replace him with, and you were worse after that.
Yeah.
And then Giannis went down again. Then Dame got banged up. Then Middleton got banged up. The Bucks will never be healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who's unhealthier during the playoffs every year, the Bucks or the Sixers, because it seems like every year those two teams can't stay healthy. But I will still, to this day, not understand why you fired your head coach when you have the best record in the Eastern Conference. I still have not gotten a full explanation from that.
Yeah. That's where the downturn started.
Yeah. And they were fine. Anthony, honestly, yeah. The space to just let Giannis do his thing and everyone else just stand there and watch. Oh, no, yeah, Matt, agreed, 100%. Damian Lillard is one of the best offensive players in the league when he's healthy. That's no doubt. But the fit with the Bucks, there's a difference between being an 18 points a game scorer like Drew and a 26 points per game scorer like Dame. Dame wants the ball in his hand to be effective. Drew doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective.
Yep.
Drew Holiday has 2 championships, and he's probably been the third best player on both those teams.
Yep.
Oh, so Matt is apparently saying that he was fired because he wanted to get rid of Giannis's brother.
Really?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Wow. Oh. That's crazy.
Well, that isn't some frickin'...
That's just a joke.
All right, now, Clint makes a good point here. About the Cavs did fire David Blatt and replace him with Ty Lue.
That was LeBron's call.
Yeah, but David Blatt wasn't a good... All right, but Clint, here's my point. David Blatt clearly didn't look like he was an NBA coach. Griffin had the Bucks as the 1 seed. And they literally replaced him. Clint, we can make the argument Ty Lue was an upgrade over David Blatt. Ty Lue is one of the most respected coaches in the NBA, no matter where he's going. They got worse. All the Bucks would have had to have done is watch the Sixers for the past 3 years. You downgraded. Because this is why I have the Bucks finishing 4th, possibly 5th in the East, because of Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. He
What
is
I
like,
want to know is why they ever went away from Budenholzer.
oh, yeah, the guy that won them a championship.
He had them as like the 1 seed his whole tenure there. And then they got bounced in the first round because Giannis got hurt, and then they were like, "Oh, you can't do it anymore. See ya."
And now Clint makes a good point. He thinks the Bucks jumped to the name. Clint, that's like literally what's going to happen probably when Mike Tomlin gets fired.
Oh yeah.
Doc Rivers and Mike Tomlin are the same thing. You know why? Because they still hang on to that 2008 championship that they both won. And neither's been a good head coach in about 12 years. Anthony Dane Dane's not carrying a team no more. That's why he's with the Bucks. He doesn't have to. But again, just because the name looks good doesn't mean it's always the best fit. Drew Holiday will still always be the better fit for the Bucks. And it was a bad trade it was a good trade on paper, but it was a bad trade fit wise. And then you went and got Doc Rivers, which turned everything into a completely. All right, so here's another team that I really want to think that could possibly be better or maybe jump over the Bucks due to team chemistry. What about the Cavs? How do we feel about the Cavs?
I was just looking at the Cavs. You know, want to hear an interesting fact on who's back with the Cavs? Tristan
LeBron?
Thompson. Oh, they wish he's not. Yes,
he's not.
Back, man, I can't believe it. Oh man.
What the?
So, I mean, the Cavs, when they're healthy, have a really good, strong, young lineup. Yeah. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, he's just your floor spacer, 3-point specialist. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. It's a really solid lineup of guys that just mesh together. You know, some guys off the bench, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade. But definitely, I could see Cleveland finishing around like that 5th or 6th seed.
They're just enlightening us that Tristan Thompson was on the Cavs all last season.
Oh, really? Did he play at all? Or was he just on the bench? He played 49 games? Really? Wow. Yeah. What, 5 minutes a game?
Clint. Now Clint is our Cleveland, one of our Cleveland guys. He's another one of our dueling aces friends. So he's a Cleveland guy, and he's spot on. If Darius Garland can't stay healthy, then the Cavs are in trouble because he is. Donovan Mitchell is your scorer. He is your number one scoring option. You're going to go to him in the late games with the games on the line. Jared Allen is your run the floor, defensive rebounding, shot blocking big. Evan Mobley, and I hate to say this, Evan Mobley may be the most well-rounded player on that team. Evan Mobley is a stud.
He is.
But none of it will matter if your floor general gets hurt. And Darius Garland, if he's healthy, I think the Cavs could be just as good as the Sixers or the Knicks if they're healthy. I really like this Cavs team a lot. Yeah, and then Tristan Thompson, I'm going back to Chloe. Fuck this. But, like, if you look at the Cavs, like you said, the couple years ago, what really hurt them is they had no three-point shooting. They went out and got Max Strus. They went out and signed George Niang from the Sixers. And they have them off their bench that can shoot. Dean Wade, another guy who could shoot a little bit. Isaac Okoro, really solid defender. Zaire Smith is on the Cavs. I'm done. And then off their bench, they still have Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert, who he was a couple years ago with the Nets and the Pacers. No, but you know what? Still gives you solid 14 off the bench. Still can be a ball handler on the second unit. The Cavs, again, it's all health-based. If they are healthy, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
And Clint said Dean Wade beat the Celtics by himself last year. So, Tyler, I think, are we in agreement here now? How many teams do we? I mean, there are teams like I'm sorry, I don't care about the Raptors.
No. The Hornets.
I don't care about the Nets.
Wizards. No.
No.
Nets. No.
Are these our top 5 teams in the East? Are we mutually in agreement, or do you have someone else that you could think?
I mean, depending on scenario, I could put the Heat above the Cavs. It's going to rely on Jimmy Butler's availability.
Literally. Because outside of that, it's a whole bunch of nothing.
If this team stays healthy, I like what they're doing with the depth. Terry Rozier having more time to mesh with the team, I think going to be a lot better with him. If we could have Tyler Hero stay healthy, maybe he can take the next step. The Magic are a scary sleeper. And guess what, Sam? My favorite Heat opening game is back. Heat versus Magic. It's back. And I'm scared
Orlando?
This year. It might be, actually. Let me check.
Every freaking time it's in Orlando, too.
Yeah. Yep.
But keep going with your talk of the Heat.
Oh, no, I want to check real quick. I had to pull up a different tab. We're home.
Oh my God.
Against Orlando. But yeah, so Jimmy Butler, if he could stay healthy. One thing Jimmy Butler came out and said recently is you heard about, the talks about the contract extension and all of that. He says he actually doesn't want to get a big extension. He's playing for a championship. So his goal for this year is to play as many games that he possibly can. So he kind of has a little bit of a different sentiment that Joel Embiid does. Not that I'm saying it's what Joel Embiid's doing is wrong. I think it's smart, but Jimmy wants to be there for his team because he knows when he's on the court, the team plays better as a whole. So your starting 5 is going to be Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jovic is getting the starting nod, and Bam Adebayo.
Over Hopkins?
Yep.
Why?
They must have seen something. That's how it's going to start off, I guess.
Now
things can change, but you know what is surprising to me though, and I'm not mad about it. Guess who's knocked down to third string essentially at both shooting guard and small forward?
Oh,
Duncan Robinson. Miami is no longer running on Duncan.
Personally, if I were the Heat, I would run a starting lineup of Bam, Jimmy, Terry. You want to go Jovic? That's fine. Why not try to put somebody just for the defensive indifference? Why not try to put
you also got Josh Richardson back.
I was going to bring him up. Why not start Richardson? Hey, Tyler Hero. I am not trying to knock the kid. Tyler Hero is not a starter in the NBA.
You're not going to get any arguments from me. He never took that next step.
So if you have off your bench Hero, Jaquez, that's why I actually like Jovic starting, because Jaquez I think is a really good bench player. Not saying he couldn't start, but he averaged 12 points a game last year, shot 48% from the field, 32% from 3. He actually was really good for the Heat last year.
He was.
So you have Hero, Jaquez. I'm trying to look who else you guys have here. I'm trying to look who else you have on your bench here. Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson can still shoot a little bit. You have Thomas Bryant.
I'm just glad that Duncan.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, Alec Burks.
When the hell did you guys sign Alec Burks?
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
But if you had that starting 5 with a bench unit that starts with Hero and Jaquez, I think that's a pretty good. Look,
the one thing about Spoelstra is his lineups always change until he finds the right fit, and a lot of times it changes because guys get hurt, so he has to change it.
I will quickly. I want to let you go on more about the Heat. I just want to say this: why Matt's comment is the first one there. I don't care. The Cavs and Bucks could easily finish below the Heat because they are better coached than those two teams.
Yeah, that'll always be the determining factor. Is that
look, I've been watching basketball a long time. I remember when Eric Spoelstra was just known as the guy that could only win because LeBron was there, and Eric Spoelstra's done a hell of a job since that team went away. Even when Wade and Bosch left. Because when Wade and Bosch were still there, they still had a couple squads. They still were bringing some players. I believe didn't Luol Deng play there for a little bit?
Oh yeah, I love
there. Who else? Was it Amari Stoudemire there for a cup of coffee?
No, for a sip of coffee.
But he was there for a little bit, right? And I think that one more. I think it was Joe Johnson, right? Did they have Joe Johnson and Goran Dragic?
Oh, I love the Dragic days.
So those last couple years of Wade and Bosch, they were still respectable. But ever since all those guys went away, it's been Jimmy Butler, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Spoelstra made Dion Waiters look like a good NBA player.
Oh God, freaking Waiters, man.
Now, but I'll let you continue because you have more insight on the Heat than I do.
But I'll be honest, this is one of the first years that I'm actually confident of them coming into this season. Now I know the big what if for them is health. Butler, his knees go every year.
It's one guy's health.
Tyler Hero too. Tyler Hero hasn't been healthy in how many years? I don't even know now.
Okay, but Tyler, if you lose Tyler Hero for a playoff series, you may still win. If you lose Jimmy Butler, you're screwed. Exactly.
So I'm confident now that Duncan Robinson, I don't have to see him starting. I don't have to see him start off either going 4 for 4 from 3 or going 0 for 4 from 3.
I will agree with this one, Master. Yes, you will miss Caleb Martin a little bit.
I am upset that they lost out on Martin. Because
it wasn't that much money.
A willing defender. I think the Heat are still going to make another move. I don't think they're done. I don't think this is their final roster.
No.
I still think it's possible they could go out and try to get Chris Paul.
Do you really want Chris Paul at this point of his career?
I'll take a rain check on him for a year.
The Spurs want to compete. They're not. I don't know why you're all thinking they're going to trade Chris Paul. They're trying to compete. They're not trying to rebuild.
Compete without him.
No, they can't. They don't have a point guard outside of him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you're going to have him now with Wemby and them? Oh, man.
Yeah. But no, I could easily see, Richardson, honestly, he's day-to-day, so maybe that's why they don't have him as the starter. But I could easily see him working his way into the starting lineup. That'd be a really good defensive unit to start off. That can also get some buckets. And then, like you said, Hero and Jaquez off the bench. Throw Kevin Love out there for a little bit. But I like the way the depth is looking for this team. I like the starting lineup. If they can stay healthy, let's run it. They'll be up there. They can be in that conversation, that top 4 teams. They can hang up there in the win column if they're healthy.
Now, the other 2 teams that I want to talk about before we move on into some other topic. Clint brought up the Magic. The Magic have a really good young roster. I mean, Paolo Banchero is one of the best young players in the league. They signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the offseason. They have Jalen Suggs. They have
really good player.
Jonathan Isaac is finally healthy. They have Wagner. They've got Wendell Carter. They've got a nice young little squad over there.
They also got his brother Moritz Wagner too.
That's why I said Wagner. I'm not trying to pronounce their damn names. Don't even try it.
Franz and Moritz. It's easy.
I think Moritz was the one on Michigan the year that Villanova beat him in the freaking national title.
Okay.
But here, let me get to another team what Pacers? Where are they in all that? They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
They were. The Pacers they're hanging around. They're not going nowhere. I mean, you got Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not too familiar with Andrew Nembhard.
Naismith?
Wait, what? No, there isn't it. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Naismith, but Andrew Nembhard is a starting shooting guard apparently.
Yeah, because Naismith is he only started 47 out of 72 games. He averaged 12 points a game last year. Shot really well from 3, so.
Now you got Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Obi Toppin.
Hold on. If you want to see the most rejected center room in the NBA, they've got Miles Turner, James
James
Wiseman,
Wiseman. I just saw that.
and Jaleel Okafor.
Wait. I missed that name. I don't see
Jaleel
Jaleel
Okafor.
Okafor. Are you sure?
He's on Score Mobile thing.
Oh, I don't see him on here.
He's a training camp deal. That's why.
Oh, okay.
And give them credit. Obi Toppin played really well for them last year.
He did.
And don't forget, Mr. Reliable, T.J. McConnell. I think this team's going to be. I think the Pacers will be really good, and they have Rick Carlisle as their coach.
Oh yeah, they'll be a sleeper team. I think they'll hang around like the 5th or 6th seed. Honestly, can see the Pacers winning more games than the Bucks. That's my hot take.
All right, so why don't we just throw out why don't we take all the teams? No, Matt, let me just tell you this. You're going to have to tell me, because let me tell you this now, okay? If we are talking sports, I will never watch preseason for any sport. I don't watch preseason because it doesn't matter. So who is going off, though? Because I don't watch preseason. But why Matt cuts that? And let's end our NBA preview with, let's predict the record. Let's predict where these teams will line up. So that would be what? The top, 8 seeds?
Yeah.
Well, Matt, he's playing with Steph Curry. Of course he is. Buddy, freaking healed. So, yeah, what is that? So, am I right? Is that like top 8 seeds that we would discuss here?
Yeah.
All right, and if you want to throw in some play-in teams, go right ahead. Would you like to start off, or would you like me?
No, you kick it off.
All right. So in my order, of all the teams we just discussed, I'm going to go Celtics number 1. I'm going to go Knicks at 2. Sixers are going to go at 3. I'm going to put the Cavs at 4. I'm going to have the Heat at 5. I'm going to have the Bucks at 6. The Magic will go in at 7. And then I'll have the Pacers at 8.
Oh, okay.
And real quickly to round off, since the play-in is only since it's 10, I'll throw in my last 2 play-in teams will be I'll go the Raptors. I think the Raptors are actually still a solid team. Still have Scotty Barnes. They have Bruce Brown. They have Emmanuel Quickly, who they got in the trade with the Knicks last year. He actually had a really good start. They have R.J. Barrett, who they also got in the trade for Anunoby. They have Chris Boucher still. They have Kelly Olynyk. Oh my God,
yeah, that's the deciding factor there. Yeah, Kelly.
And they still have Jakob Poeltl too. So I think the Raptors still have a decent team. And then for my final play-in team, I'm torn here between the Hawks. The Hawks don't have a lot of depth. It's really just Trae Young, and that's it. The Bulls stink. Like, really stink. This is tough. The Bulls are terrible. Even with Lonzo Ball back, they still stink.
The Nets are terrible too.
God, this really may be the first team to win like 35 games. This is what I hate about the play-in. This is why I really hate the play-in, because I literally can't. I cannot find a team on here that I like outside of the freaking Raptors. You know what? All right, I think I've made my decision here. I'll go Raptors as my number 9 seed, and then. Damn, I really can't find a team that I like. These teams
do the Hornets.
All right, you know what? Give me the Hawks because Trae Young will just shoot. He'll have to shoot his entire season up to get them into the playoffs. Give me the Hawks again. They'll win 34 games. They'll get hot, and then we'll reward a 34-win team again, and we'll get bounced in the first 2 games.
All right.
Matt's going Bulls and Raptors.
Bulls and Raptors. I can see it. So I'm going Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Heat,
okay.
Cavs at 5. I honestly think the Bucks will be at 6, Pacers at 7. I think they'll be real close in their win-loss column. Magic at 8. And then playing teams. Oh, man, I don't even want to pick playing teams. Jeez. It's like some of these teams that typically would have been playing teams, they've just got worse. I'm going Atlanta for one of the playing teams. And then, oh, man. Oh. Do the Raptors. Do the Raptors with them.
They have the best team out of all the playing options.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, man.
Like, they actually stink. Like, all the teams in the East stink.
This might be the first year that it is just the first 8 seeds and the rest are just terrible. Like, actually terrible.
Yeah, these teams are actually terrible. But that was an hour and 20 minutes of an Eastern Conference preview. I think we previewed that pretty well.
Yeah.
Until we got to that play-in prediction, because then I don't know who the hell's going to that.
Yeah, sorry, any Hornets fans, Pistons fans.
Oh, knock it off.
Pistons,
honestly, the Pistons could be interesting.
I don't know how interesting they're going to be. They need more talent.
I mean, they have Kate Cunningham still.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey. They still have freaking Isaiah Stewart. Okay, then they've got Tobias Harris, Paul Reed. Okay, never mind. No bueno.
Just no.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh, my God.
No.
Why?
No.
All right. Are we ready to talk some NFL?
Oh, yeah.
We got some things to talk about. We got some head coaching stuff to talk about. Where would you like to start? Because we could start with the Jets or we could start with the freaking Eagles.
I thought we were going to start with something a little simpler.
Nope.
We getting right into the thick of it. Let's talk about the Jets. Because I got a lot to say about that.
That's a scapegoat.
How classless the Jets are. For them to fire Robert Saleh for Aaron Rodgers' underperformance in an underwhelming offensive scheme by offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, that his name.
Yep.
And then, not only do they not just fire Saleh, who, mind you, knew he wasn't an offensive mastermind. His offense was the responsibility of Nathaniel Hackett, but yet he got blamed for the struggles of the offense. They don't fire Hackett. They keep him. Wonder why. Oh, let's keep Rodgers happy, even though he's not really doing much for you anyways. But yeah, let's just keep him happy by keeping his guy around in the building.
So first of all, the first biggest thing was that Nathaniel. Here's the thing: the Dodgers. I'm watching baseball. Sorry, the Jets. Saleh was going to fire Hackett. Now, Clint makes it I was just going to make this point. Hackett was demoted as play call.
Yeah, I know he got demoted. He should have got fired.
But that's the point. Saleh was not going to demote him. He was going to fire him.
Yeah.
And then Rodgers and them came out, we had a great relationship. This had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. Bull.
Mm-hmm.
This had everything to do. And first of all, if you're the Jets owner, you fired the defensive-minded head coach who had you playing like a top 10 defense?
Yeah. Even though your offense can't hang, they got you around in games?
Yeah. Because you freaking tried to ask an aging 40-year-old quarterback to save your franchise, and you got the worst offensive coordinator out there to coach them.
That sums it up pretty well.
And I'll tell you now, all their defensive players, they're pissed. Dolph Gardner's upset. Quentin Williams is upset.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they didn't even allow him to address the team at all. He walked in to work and was escorted right out the building.
Yeah, Anthony's making that point right here. Like that, escorted. What is he like a punch?
Yeah,
that tells you right there that someone knew something was up.
Yeah, they knew that what they were doing was wrong when they escorted him out the building, because he's not going to throw a temper tantrum. He just would have liked to,
punch Aaron in the face and leave.
I don't know about all that. Now, Robert Saleh's a respectable guy. I don't think he's a professional. He wouldn't stoop to that.
Fair enough, but yeah, I personally cannot stand the fact that this happened to Robert Saleh. He is, if you want to say he wasn't the greatest coach in the league, first of all, up until this year, he had 6 starting quarterbacks for his Jets team. He's been with the Jets for 3 years. That's number one. Number two, the quarterback that started the most games during that stretch, Zach Wilson. Last year, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt 3 plays into the season. The defense carried them to how many wins they had. And I'm sorry, and Clint makes a good point. Aaron Rodgers got Mike McCarthy fired.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Matt LaFleur, from what I saw last year and this year, he did not coach this well with Aaron Rodgers. He was handcuffed by Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Because Aaron wants the offense to run how he wants it. That's why he wants Nathaniel Hackett there. What a joke that is. And Zolt just went on to say, and then the owner calls out Hassan Reddick saying he needs to sign as if the defense is the problem.
Why would he want to sign now? Now that the team's looking like a dumpster fire.
Well, did you see what he did today, right?
What did he do?
He hired Drew Rosenhaus as his new agent.
Oh, really? Well, Sam, you know who's looking for some dire pass rushing help now? The Lions.
Oh, yeah. But does Reddick
be a hefty price tag, though? And I don't know if he does fit the scheme, because they're used to those bigger bodies on the edge.
Yeah. As they said, why you have a player that don't want to stay, just trade him away. Yeah, because the Jets are the Jets.
Yep. And now there's other rumors going out that Devontae Adams might not be traded.
Oh, God, don't get me started with that, please. I'm not talking about that until the deadline's over. And teams should be lined up to hire. Don't get me wrong. They played well yesterday. The second Robert Saleh was fired, I would have fired Vic Fangio. It's not even close.
Yeah. Oh, man. Matt, the people saying that, the idiotic commentator, you're just reaching. That was a perfectly thrown pass. If you want to see an underthrown ball, go rewatch Daniel Jones last night against the Bengals, the week before that, and the week before that. Because I've never seen a quarterback who has had receivers get open and burn the defense more than the Giants, and Daniel Jones underthrows them every time. At least we know our quarterback doesn't have a noodle arm. Earlier in the game, he overthrew A.J. Brown on pretty much the same route. And then he dimed him up later on in the game. Twice.
The touchdown and the game-stealing catch.
So, yeah, people need to stop.
Which, by the way, we better be praying, thanking our lucky stars he got that ball to AJ, because if you all watch it back, Fred Johnson, oh, daddy, got bull rushed into Jalen. Big Fred cannot be playing left tackle. I'm sorry.
No. Let's see. Starting tomorrow, they'll be back in practice tomorrow.
Yes.
Mekhi Becton, Stoutland's putting him at left tackle. Hey, buddy, you remember how to play this? Good. You're starting.
Tyler Steen goes in the right guard. Well, Nick did say today that everything's on the table because Mailata will miss a few weeks, they said.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if he'll be placed on IR because it doesn't sound like they think it'll be 4 weeks. It may be 2, it may be 3, but we'll have to wait and see. No, honestly, Trevor Lawrence yesterday was dueling Caleb Williams. I went back and watched it. The Jags dropped. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah.
Zolt, don't give me ideas.
I mean, hey, it's still on the table there.
And Matt said people keep trying to say it was a horrible call, which it wasn't. Brown was one-on-one with a backup corner, no safety. Matt, we know how this goes. They converted it so it was a great play call. If he didn't, it was going to be the worst play call in the history of football. We know how this goes.
I will always stand by this, no matter if it's a catch, incomplete pass, or an interception. If you got A.J. Brown one-on-one with a corner, you're throwing that ball up. You're trusting in him because that's a big man.
Now, since Clint is asking the question, I think it's a perfect segue into the next topic. Let me just come out and say some things yesterday, okay?
The floor is yours.
Yesterday, Vic Fangio's defense did their thing. 5 sacks, dominated the Browns up and down the field, didn't allow a touchdown.
Should have had an interception.
Should have had an interception. Thanks, TJ. Crumb. But, nah, it's okay. It's a pass breakup. Who cares?
It's okay. Yeah.
But
they both wanted the interception.
Oh, yeah, Matt. And look, as Eagle fans, we should know something about Jim Schwartz's defense. They don't allow shit against the run. We were one of the best run defenses for the 4 years Jim was here.
Yep.
And then Anthony says, if you drop 4 touchdown passes in the red zone, Vegas made a call and to screw the betting people. Yeah, I think Gabe Davis dropped 3 of them. But now,
Davis, one or team's going to realize he just
Gabe Davis stinks. Gabe Davis stinks. So let me get back to my little Eagle soliloquy here. Vic Fangio's defense was lights out the entire game. Here's some numbers real quick. Quinyon Mitchell, 33 coverage snaps, 4 targets, 1 catch allowed, 1 pass breakup, 39.6 passer rating, 1 targeted, 80.1 PFF coverage grade. I don't have the numbers, but Cooper DeJean was all over the football field yesterday and was absolutely dominant and looked like way better player than Avonte Maddox has been in probably about 4 years.
Yes.
And then we go down here to the Eagle again where the Eagles actually played a very good game. And I for once have to agree with Elliott Shore-Parks, which I don't do often. No turnovers. Thank you. For once, you didn't turn the football over. The Browns tried blitzing Jalen like crazy. He responded to it. AJ and Devontae Smith returned and showed their mark that they are the best wide receiver duo in the league. Sorry, Bengals fans. The defense didn't allow a touchdown, like I said, and the D-line showed that they have a pulse. And also yesterday, you clearly saw the one thing, and that it was that Jalen Hurts played his best game of the season. 16 to 25, I believe was the numbers. 264, 2 passing touchdowns, no turnovers, and easily the best game they've played all year. And it all doesn't matter because it's overshadowed by, once again, the big elephant problem in the room, which is head coach Nick Sirianni, who continues to put himself in the way of this team's success. Going out of this game, I feel better about Vic Fangio's defense because also, you know what he did this week? He put Bryce Huff in his 4-point stance, which he did in New York last year.
Wow.
There we go. Now we're starting to figure it out. Anthony, Brian Flores ain't leaving Minnesota.
Yeah, he's
Minnesota ain't letting that guy
a nice
go.
home there. Only way he leaves for somewhere is for a head coaching job.
No, I'm not
even then, he may not even want that. He might be like, "Yeah, I tried it, wasn't it? I'm sticking to DC."
Yeah, a lot of these guys don't go back for the second time around.
Mm-hmm.
But all this good that came out of yesterday, and it's all overshadowed because our head coach, I can 100% say, is an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
First off, you come out at your press conference. By the way, press conference, biggest shit show in the world. Because first of all, let me explain this real quickly before I get into it. Matt said Huff showed a poll that he had multiple pressures, and I'm not defending him, but he was held on those pressures. That's why he couldn't get a sack. Well, Matt, he did have a half a sack. Him and DeJean combined for a sack, so he did have a half a sack. Resulted, honestly, at this point, I'm calling it Sirianni. He is. I want to say this, okay? You remember the Warriors with Mark Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Eagles are. As soon as the Warriors signed Steve Kerr, they were a dynasty. The Eagles need to find their Steve Kerr. I don't know who that is right now, but I'll tell you who it's not. It's Sirianni.
Yep.
Because here's the problem, okay? And I know I'm going to get criticized for this. That's fine. It's cute. I don't care. Not only are you making an enemy out of your own fan base by chirping at them. Oh, well, I was upset because they were booing us because we didn't score in the first quarter. Yeah, Nick, maybe because you haven't scored in the first quarter of a game yet this season? Oh, yeah, he does. He wants to be fired. Because he doesn't have Shane Steichen here to save his job anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, the press conference, I am not one to criticize a family. But to bring your kids to a press conference in a regular season like that, that was to deflect.
Yeah. After what she did coming off the field?
Yeah. That's a deflect move.
Yeah.
Not only that, then you come out in the second quarter, oh, yeah, you're up 10-0. And somehow we were still only tied at 10 at the end of the first half. Why was that? Because you literally, on 3rd and 1, well, first of all, 2nd and 1, Saquon Barkley has to catch that football and get a first down. You still had a timeout. You had to get the first down. I get that. On 3rd and 1, you dial up a freaking pass play, which then gets Jalen sacked and then knocks it back to a 57-yard field goal, which gets blocked and returned for a touchdown, ironically, by former Eagle Rodney McLeod.
Yeah, right.
Then you go into then you admit that you did that play. It's like, oh, yeah, I called that play. Then you come out and say, oh, yeah, I also called a defensive play in place of Vic Fangio. What? Huh? Nick, this is not what we signed Vic Fangio for. If you could not see the difference in a Nick Sirianni play call and a Kellen Moore play call, then you are blind. Because I'll tell you right now, the Devontae Smith touchdown, that's all Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
That's the Kellen Moore special. Space, got him in space, and he schemed that route to get him open. Nick Sirianni, on and off the field, is becoming a very big, major problem for this football team.
Yeah.
And I don't buy the apology one bit.
No. And people are trying to come out, like, there's a couple players who try to come out and, like, try to, say, oh, we love them. We don't mind this, that, and the other. They're sugarcoating it. You can't go out and publicly bash your coach. And like Matt just said, It's also bad when your QB doesn't like you, and we all know he won't say it, but Hurts can't stand him. Hurts has to literally tiptoe about any question that is asked about him and Sirianni because
Yeah.
he trust me, he knows how he feels. He can't say how he feels.
Here is the other problem that this team has is now Nick is looked at to be the leader because the leaders are all leaving. Because I'm sorry, I just still find it funny that Fletcher Cox is all of a sudden, oh, hey, guys, by the way, this is my last game. What? In this era of social media, no one found this out till the day of? Unless Fletcher Cox is that damn good at keeping that shit private? Nick Sirianni is too... Here's my final words on Nick Sirianni. He is an immature man-child who relies on too many others to help him with his success. And it started last year with that whole stupid thing about with Big Dom being suspended. You're telling me you need him on the sideline so you keep your cool? What? You're a grown man. You are a grown freaking man. You can't. Your leaders are all retiring, so now you got to lead the team, and you're not good at that. And do you remember when Doug was? Now, do you also remember when they were doing those press conference videos? Not the locker room videos at the end of the game, and they're having the speeches. And you remember how the team was all huddled together for those?
Yep.
Did you see the one from yesterday?
I didn't actually.
Oh, we're spaced out like it's 2020. Everyone's spaced. He's losing this locker room because I don't give a damn what you say.
Coming
that
from
game yesterday,
downfall,
and I'm not even trying
to this season. The locker room's already gone.
And I'm not trying to knock them. Look, and this ain't an offense to Adam or Clint or any of you guys. That game should have been like 41-16. They should have blew the doors off the Browns yesterday because they are bad.
We said it in the post-game show. The 20 points is cute, right? It came too late. Why didn't they come out of the door swinging? It should have been at least 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. Probably 20-0 going into the half. At the very least 17. Maybe 17-3 going into halftime.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you couldn't have put up 30 plus on them. No reason. No excuse for it. Yes, could they have scored a touchdown at the end of the game? Yeah, they could have. But what about the rest of the game? All the chances that they did have.
Because for some reason, he doesn't want to give up his full play calling like he did the Shane Steichen for Kellen Moore. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
He didn't want to call plays until because you got to a Super Bowl, which you lost because you blew a 10-point lead. I remember that, so baby. I remember that. This is why we remember when we made this hire. I texted all you. I was like, "Who the hell is Nick Sirianni?" Honestly, I know he's not. I take Doug back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I miss a leader of men. That's what Doug Peterson was, a leader of men. And all I'm saying is,
somewhat he was a better leader.
Clint's boycotting the Browns currently. He said, "It's rough, Clint. I get it, but still, that game should not have been 20-16. Yeah, because you know what? I'm sorry. I'm tired of. Oh well, a win's a win. A win's been a win for 2 years now. I understand it's hard to win the NFL. I get that. Week to week, it's hard to win. I get it. But you're clearly better. The Commanders, who don't have near the talent you have, put up 40 on these guys. What the hell is going on around here? And then he's fighting with the media like, oh, I know you guys have a job to do. And in the first quarter, we'll get the first quarter stuff figured out. Nick, it's been 6 weeks into the season. And you came off a bye week, and you still look like shit.
Yeah, first quarter just non-existent. Like you got to get it going. If you don't set the tone and you fall behind, you're not gonna come back from that.
Oh, this is a perfect comparison.
Ooh. Too smart for everybody else and above being questioned.
And Matt said, and for the people that are saying Hurts can't read a defense or see anything at the line, rewatch the game yesterday when he called an audible when the Browns were sending pull-out blitz. He changed it from a run to a tight end screen for Grant. Okay, Grant Calcaterra yesterday. What a game. Grant Calcaterra stepping up without Dallas Goddard, who, of course, unserviceably gets hurt after everyone else gets healthy.
Yep.
Zolt, I take him back in a heartbeat. And then Georgie said my 8th grade Vermilion Sailors could beat the Browns. Probably. But still.
I don't know. Do we want Doug Peterson back?
I'm not saying he'd be my first option. I'm saying I would. He's a better coach than Sirianni. Nick Sirianni was never ready to be a head coach. He was never ready for this. This is why I wanted McDaniels. Now, granted, that would have been a shit show in its own right, but
yeah,
what I meant by there were guys more qualified. Sirianni had only been an offensive coordinator for a year. He was a position coach before that, and even people around the league said he wasn't good at that. Nick Sirianni is a guy who is way in over his head that is relying on too many other people for his success. If they don't beat the Giants next week, after what I saw from the Giants last night against the freaking Bengals, who, by the way, their defense stinks.
If we don't beat the Giants and the Bengals the next 2 weeks.
And the Jags.
And the Jags following that up. And the Cowboys, which look like a ghost of themselves without Micah Parsons on the field.
You can roll out 5 straight wins.
They should.
But no. But see, you're being generous. If they don't beat the Giants at least a little convincingly on next Sunday, they're firing him. Nick Sirianni could win 5 in a row and still get fired. And first of all, I understand what BG said. I get all that. Because who was the first guy to come out and say something about that? Nick. Oh, well, I have all these players telling me to go back to my 2022 self. Nick, nobody said that.
Yeah. I don't think a single person walked up to you and said, Nick, we need that fire from you, that passion.
Because you were acting like that in 2022 in the Super Bowl and Jalen couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni cannot be the coach of this team after this year. I don't care what the ending result is. You have to win the Super Bowl to save his job. Because the problem also with this team this year is you're supposed to be an offensive-minded head coach. Well, you already suck at doing that. Because I could tell that even with Chip Kelly and Pat Shurmur here, I didn't question who was calling the plays. I can see clear as day who's calling what play. Nick or freaking Kellen Moore. It's not even a close debate. Now, but the problem is you are supposed to be an offensive-minded team. The defense is taking a step back. Howie Roseman showed you that. They're getting younger and cheaper, and they're going to develop the defense with youth. So you already know that your offense has to win you a bunch of games. Tyler, we've won 3 games this year. The defense has won 2 of them.
Yeah. We've only had
this is not going to last.
Game.
This is too much like last year again. It's just going to be close, stressful games until the powder keg blows and we lose 5 in a row. And let me tell you something now. If they have another end of the season like last year, done. He won't even make it. I'm telling you, I don't know if he makes it to the Jags game. I don't. I really don't.
Barely scrape by against the Giants and then barely scrape by against the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. They look miserable half the time. The players look miserable half the time. But that's my final thought on Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. I'm done with Nick Sirianni. I feel better about the defense. I think Fangio did a great job this week. He took advantage of a bad quarterback and he dominated him.
He did. And what are the Browns known for this year? They let Watson get sacked like crazy. They went out and got 5 sacks. They did what they were supposed to do.
And then that was the big Fangio I thought I was getting. I have Cooper DeJean rushing the passer, and for the nickel, I love it.
Yeah. Like they said, man, is Cooper DeJean the weapon that he's been waiting for?
Maybe.
Was Vic Fangio stalled out the first couple of weeks because he missed some time? Because all we heard was that he's just this crazy weapon that you can use anywhere on the field. Insane athlete.
I also find it funny that, Cooper DeJean's in and we're dominating the game with no completion short. We're dominating the Browns. First play, Avonte Maddox is in, 15 yards. There you go. There he is. There's good old Avonte.
Probably still talking about Fortnite.
God, I can't stand him. But all right, let's and And now let's talk about the last headline. Then we'll run through the games real quick, and then we'll get on to the college football talk. Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, out for the year, broken leg, fibula, tibia, it's all broken.
It was nasty.
Now, good news is, had emergency surgery last night. He is going to make a full recovery. He is okay. Of course, he is out for the season. That may have been, I was so dumbfounded and lost at the beginning. I'm like, why is it, like, what happened? Like, I just watched him sack Prescott. They just sit there like, is he okay? Like, he looked bad. Oh, Matt, trust me, I'm over Darius Slay, too. Rodgers and Ringo both came in yesterday and looked good.
Yeah. Maddox needs to be benched. Slay needs to be benched.
No, Slay
and guess who else can stay on the bench? Bradbury can stay on the bench when he comes back.
Is he still on the team?
For now.
But no, I for one am over. Yeah, I'm over the veterans in the secondary. Slay can go, Maddox can go, Bradbury can go. I'm cool with just let the kids play. That's where I'm at. Let the kids play. But Tyler, what do the Lions do about Aiden Hudson and replacing that? Because that is like, I'll tell you,
the Lions are at top of the NFC. Numbers,
yeah,
they need to find a replacement for him. It's going to be tough though, because they said they're not trying to give away a whole lot of capital to get an interim replacement for him.
I did see that, Matt.
Ooh. So,
nah.
I don't know.
The first two names that come to mind are Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, from the Bengals. Now, what about another name that I think has been kind of buried on the Ravens depth chart? Yannick Ngakoue? You think they could get any service out of him at this point? It wouldn't get him a lot to trade for him.
No.
Because I don't even think he's starting right now.
The best guy that fits what they need is Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
They have Zadarius Smith makes some sense.
Darius Smith, yeah.
They have to go. Do you know what their numbers are without? They had 7 sacks as a team if you take away Aiden Hutchinson. He has 7.5 alone. He has 17 quarterback hits. They have like 24.
Yeah.
They have got to find a way to find a pass rusher. They're not going to go trade it for Max Crosby or someone like that. That's not the way.
No.
Now,
they need someone who can just fill in some of the gap.
No. For now, they're going to try to go and deal with what they have. But I don't know if that pass rush will hold up for a team that had NFC Championship game aspirations heading into the season.
Yeah.
And now they're not going to mortgage their future like they said. So that may take out a Trey Hendrickson. It may still be able to get Sam Hubbard. I mean, Khalil Mack's another guy, but that's a lot of money to take on.
Yeah. That wouldn't really
Zadarius Smith sounds like, because not only does it kill them that Aiden Hutchinson is out, they also lost Marcus Davenport a few weeks ago for the season too. Like, they're now both their pass rushers.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. They could try to duke it out, but it's not going to go too well. It's a major hit. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson was probably one of the early front runners for Defensive Player of the Year.
Now, Clint said Smith is more of a run stopper than a pass rusher. He wouldn't be a great fit. Fair enough. You could throw in Hassan Reddick because he still is without a contract and a team. I also personally believe Reddick may actually skip this whole contract thing if he's going to a top contender in the NFC. I don't know if Reddick is... Now, if you're talking about not a fit, I don't know if Reddick is a fit with his body type, because Hutchinson is a bigger defensive end.
Oh, yeah.
So, It's a name I throw out there. I just don't know if it's a realistic fit. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like Zolt said, they're probably going to go with what they have for now. Yeah, Zolt wouldn't be surprised if they just try to win games purely if they just dominate a team up front, which they do.
Yeah.
That offensive line is the best in the league. They run the football like grown men. So it's a crushing blow to one of the NFL's stars of the league because he is a rising star in this league.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, Anthony, I brought that up. Trey Hendrickson makes a lot of sense. I don't know any other guy. Like, I really don't know any other guys they can look into. That's not a big contract or a big name. Like Joey Bosa, another guy, a lot of money. And I don't trust his health either. I honestly don't know where they go from here, but I'm assuming they're just going to try to duke this out without mortgaging anything. But this sucks because he is such a good damn player.
But it's the NFL. Things happen.
Yeah, literally
accidents.
This makes a lot of sense now. We were talking about Harold Landry as a possible target for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I can see Harold Landry. That ain't going to cost you much either. The Titans, they don't ask for much. Probably throw them a water cooler and they take it.
A water cooler.
But all right, let's go around the NFL and talk about some of these games real quick. As we know, on Thursday night, Niners beat the Seahawks 36-24. Eagles outlast the Browns 20-16. Bears destroyed the Jags in London 35-16. Buccaneers shot out the Saints 51-27. I have some takeaways from some of these games. I'm sure you do too. Packers blew out the Cardinals 34-13. Colts outlasted the Titans 20-17. Texans blew out the Patriots and set up Drake May for failure 41-21. Warned you that was going to happen. Commanders lost a tough one-possession heartbreaker to the Ravens 30-23. Chargers outlast the Broncos 23-16. Steelers, so they have an offensive pulse, granted it was against the Raiders, 32-13. My God, that's a lot of points. I know the Steelers were capable of that. Falcons showed up late to the party, but dominated the Panthers 38-20. Kirk Cousins had another solid game. Well, sort of. The Lions completely schoolgirled the Cowboys 47-9. Yeah. And then the Bengals win a sleeper on Sunday Night Football 17-7. Yeah, Tyler, what are your biggest NFL takeaways from this week?
Biggest takeaways, Jordan Love is very good. Jaden Daniels, even better.
Good point from Zolt. Landry has experience with their defensive line coach.
Oh, interesting. Could be a good fit. The Bengals, I still don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what happened.
They're broken.
They broke. It just doesn't work. The Giants are the Giants. What else? Ravens are cruising.
The Ravens are.
And speaking of cruising, let's talk about the bloodbath of a division that is the NFC North.
Oh, that division is a
5-0 Vikings. No one really called that. The now, is it 4-1 or 5-1 Lions?
4-1.
4-1 Lions. Packers are also 4-1 now.
The Packers are 4-2.
4-2. Okay, so they played an extra game, and then you got the Bears at 4-2, right?
Yeah.
Like, that division is anybody's. Is it possible for all four teams to make it into the playoffs?
Should be, because it'll be one hell of an NFC playoff.
Oh, man. But I would say the Bears, they're finding ways to win games. Yes, they showed a really good flash yesterday. Hopefully they can keep that up and Caleb Williams can keep that up. But they do look like the easier team to beat out of that grouping in the NFC North.
Oh, yeah, of course, younger team. But I will say Caleb's starting to look better.
He is.
The last couple of weeks, he's been playing a lot better. Especially, 4 touchdowns yesterday. That's a really good game.
Yeah, not a single one of DJ Moore.
Listen, buddy, I don't want to talk about it, okay?
Oh, did that cost you your fantasy?
Oh, I'm blowing my opponent out. I'm still winning.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Well, when you start Chris Godwin and Zay Flowers, you're in pretty good spot. A good spot. Some of my other takeaways, of course, Caleb Williams. Can we talk about what Derrick Henry has done to the Baltimore Ravens?
Derrick Henry unlocked a new, I don't even know the word for it, a new level. That's not even the right word to describe it. But he just added something in to that offense. We thought that Derrick Henry was going to help Lamar out more. It looks like the complete opposite. It looks like Derrick Henry's enjoying the most success out of being on that team.
Derrick Henry has played 6 games. He has 704 rushing yards. 704. He's averaging 117 rushing yards per game.
That's King Henry.
Lamar, another really good game, 20 of 26, 323, 1 touchdown, did throw a pick, but a 114.7 passer rating yesterday. Lamar is playing the best football of his career right now, and the guy's won 2 MVPs. And I'm saying this. Me.
When Sam says it, you know it's special.
Also, my other biggest NFL takeaway, and also Clint just said Henry is rejuvenated. Oh, he's rejuvenated, all right. They've won 4 in a row because of that.
Yep.
My last takeaway. Tyler, do you have any other takeaways?
No, not that I can think of.
I got 2. Well, the first one's quick. Happy birthday, Jerry Jones. There's the first one. And also, did you want to wait to talk about the Saints' 4-game losing streak?
True. I don't think Saints fans want to hear about the 4-game.
I tried to tell you guys. I tried to tell you.
Talk about frauds.
And now, Shaheed
Start
is out.
2-0, highest scoring offense over 2 weeks. Then they meet the Eagles.
Then Jalen Carter showed up.
We had a stalemate down in the bayou. And, man, they haven't recovered since then.
By the way,
of course, getting hurt. That's, unfortunate.
Shaheed may be missing time with a knee injury, they said.
Really? Oh, that's not looking good.
And nope.
Not looking good. Well, Sam, maybe you might be right. Your prediction of them being a 5-win team might happen.
Well, they've lost 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that defense was better, but to give up 51 to the Bucks, my God. Anthony, who is leading
player of the year? Who could it be? Probably not
AJ Brown, because he only played 2 games. It's got to be Derrick Henry, dude.
I would think Derrick Henry.
It's got to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's a madman.
Because if Lamar's probably already leading the MVP voting.
Again.
Well,
yeah,
Mahomes' name is in there. Oh, what?
Mahomes hasn't played well.
He hasn't, but guess what? If that team keeps winning, you know damn well they will give it to him. They'll credit him for being able to win games without having any top receivers aside from Kelsey.
Taylor Swift is more of the team MVP than Pat Mahomes is right now.
She was Super Bowl.
And Anthony up, Derrick Henry. Barkley is number 2. That's fair. Barkley didn't have a great game this week, but again, the Browns' run defense is legit.
It is.
You want to talk some AP top 25?
Oh, yeah. Got some shakeups in there.
So this week? It's shaking up every damn week since the season started. All right. Let's start us off here. At number 1, we have those Texas Longhorns, who, by the way, look better with Arch Manning than Quinn Ewers. I still think Arch Manning is better.
I do too. But he kind of shook off some rust, and he cruised the rest of the game after that.
Fair enough. Number 2, we have those Oregon Ducks. Anthony's Oregon Ducks, as they beat Ohio State by 1. Coming in at number 3,
Ohio
James
State.
Yeah, you're funny. We got James Franklin, and we are Penn State, sitting at number 3. At number 4, we have the Ohio State University. God, if you would have told me that I would have came into this week to a week and I would have been ahead of Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, I would have told you to put down the pipe. But at number 5, we do have those Georgia Bulldogs. At number 6, we have Miami. I think Miami got hosed.
Yeah.
Alabama still sits at 7. LSU is sitting pretty at 8. Iowa State is sitting pretty at 9. Number 10 is Clemson. Number 11 is Tennessee. Notre Dame sitting pretty at 12. BYU is up to 13. A&M is at 14. Texas A&M, that is. No offense to Alabama A&M.
All offense to Alabama A&M. What the hell's Alabama A&M?
They're a made-up school. Knock it off. You may want to talk about this team after I read this off, but we got Boise State at number 15.
Ooh.
Indiana is sitting there at 16. Kansas State's still sitting there at 17. Ole Miss is at 18. Missouri is sitting at 19. Number 20 is Pitt. Number 21 is SMU. Illinois is sitting there at number 22. 21 is SMU. 21 is SMU, my mistake. 22 is Illinois. Army coming in at number 23. Michigan is at 24. And Navy cracks at number 25. How about that? Army and Navy both undefeated and in the AP top 25.
Yeah.
Yes, Anthony, I could see that, but look. Texas has been the best team all year. They're still undefeated. I get the frustration, but they were not going to jump Oregon over Texas.
No.
I do agree. You could make the case, though.
I mean,
Clint agrees that
Oregon's beat Idaho, almost lost to Boise State, who my favorite guy I'm about to talk about in a second here again. They blew out Oregon State, blew out UCLA, blew out Michigan State. Michigan State's not the same team anymore. Their most high-profile win was Ohio State.
That's a big win, though.
It is a big win. It's a really big win, especially because they were ranked higher than them, too. But let's see, where does Texas stand as far as teams that they've played?
Probably not much. Clint also just wants to shout out to Army and Navy. Absolutely. Army and Navy, man, that hasn't been done in a long time.
Okay, so actually, I mean, Texas has 2 wins over AP 25 teams this year. Oregon's only had 1.
No, they have 2. You said Boise State.
Oh, wait, you're right. Now Boise State is. But
so that cancels that out.
Boise State wasn't ranked.
All right. It doesn't matter, though. They're still a top 25 team. Now, Anthony, let me explain. No, hold on. I just solved the mystery.
Texas blew out Michigan and Oklahoma. They held Oklahoma to a field goal.
Who did? Texas?
Texas, yeah.
All right. Anthony, let me also explain to you why Oregon then jumped to number one. It's because Texas, the AP got hated on for that whole week when Bama beat Georgia, and they put Bama one when Texas didn't even play. And now this is why Oregon ain't number one.
And
Because
also,
they didn't want to do it again.
Oregon barely beat Ohio State, too. If they beat them a little more convincingly, they might have jumped them. No, I'm just saying, to make the case for them to jump them to number one.
It's Ohio State.
I get that, but still, if they would have beat them by
no. You're not doing that. No. Excuse me. Hold on. Number one, first of all, I have beaten Ohio State one time in like 25 years. Okay, I can't stand Ohio State. I don't care if it's by one. This isn't like SMU beat Ohio State by one. Oregon's been one of the best teams in the freaking FBS for the last few freaking seasons. They're one of the best teams in the conference right now. Because aren't they in the Big Ten? Is Oregon in the Big Ten now?
I think
they made the move.
They are. But all I'm saying
not to mention,
Texas blew out Oklahoma.
Okay.
And what's it called? Won by, 1 point?
What's that? Were you asking me a question?
Yeah. And then
what was it?
Texas blew out Oklahoma. And then Oregon beat Ohio State by 1 point.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I think the ranking's fine.
But Ohio State is... Who's better, Ohio State or Oklahoma?
Wait, what? No, I'm not. I'm obviously not saying that.
You have to. Who's better, Ohio State or Oklahoma?
But still, you got to think in the terms of the AP 25. Think of those terms.
No, you don't, because we have a 6-0 team sitting at 6.
That is true. But then again, you got to think. The AP 25 doesn't make sense all the time.
Clearly it doesn't.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, they're dropping in the rankings because they aren't really as good as advertised.
No, they're not. Oregon does. Thank you. Oregon has the more convincing win. I can't see a scenario where they could. I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still go down as one win against an AP 25 team versus Texas having 2.
Oregon has 2. They beat Boise.
Boise wasn't ranked when they beat them. Or they weren't ranked when they beat them. It does, because that's how it shows up, though. That's how it shows up. That's how they judge it.
And wait,
who's based off of if they're ranked now?
What do you mean we're not going as how they're ranked now? That's all we can go off.
That's how we can go off of it, yes, but the AP 25 does not. Is there something that you don't comprehend about that?
Oh, but it was okay to throw Bam out there because they beat Georgia. That was okay
to throw them up there. That was an atrocity.
All right, Anthony, hold on a second. Army at 23. It depends on your division. Yes. But that's the point, though. All right, wait. So Texas has Oklahoma, and who else did they beat?
Michigan. When Michigan was ranked 10 in week 2. I know they haven't looked great recently, but...
Oh, no. Wait. Michigan was 10 then.
Yeah.
But that matters.
So, Michigan's technically still ranked now.
But Michigan also only throws the football like 6 times a game, too, by the way.
Yeah, and, hey, they shut them down.
It's not hard to do. All you got to do is take out their running back Mullins, and that's it. That's their whole offense right now in Michigan. And that's not a knock on Michigan.
Well, guess what? Michigan's on Oregon's schedule, too, so in about 3 weeks, we'll get to see.
So that'll be 3. That'll be 3 then. Do they still not get it?
Well, if Michigan's still ranked, because Michigan's at 24 right now, they might get bumped out.
Yeah, they may get bumped out. You may be right.
But anyways, that derailed. I wanted to talk about Boise State running back,
That
Ashton
did
Collins,
derail.
who all I keep seeing people talking about and commenting about him is look at the schools he's playing. Okay, let's look at the schools he's playing.
Good point, Noel.
He's played all right, GA. Well, I don't even know what that school is. Okay, so you got that one. Sure, I don't know what that school is. He ran for 267 on him. Okay, in a 3-point loss to Oregon when they were ranked 7th back in week 2 of the season, he ran for 192 yards off of 25 carries and 3 touchdowns. So he carried that team to try and beat a very good Oregon team. And then, he just went on to this past Saturday against Hawaii. Yeah, it's Hawaii, whatever. But 217 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty dominant.
Yeah, it is.
He's going to be a top 10 pick.
Are we talking Heisman talk?
He's one of the favorites. I think I actually have a screenshot I took somewhere of some possible
because favorites. I'll tell you, another Heisman guy is Dylan Gabriel, Oregon's quarterback. Dylan Gabriel's a stud.
So this isn't anything official. This is just something that I read somewhere. So this isn't like, betting odds or whatnot about the Heisman. But some of the top 3 guys to look for is Miami quarterback Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, who is killing it in his dual role as cornerback and wide receiver, and Ashton Johnson.
The SEC has not been that good this year.
To follow up on what Zolt said right there, I would hope the Big Ten is looking better than the SEC, considering they went and got a bunch of the best teams from other conferences to join their conference. It did. It did. I'm not mad about it at all. I like that. I like that it added more competition, better teams.
The only thing that sucks with the Big Ten now is all these West Coast teams and the traveling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to knock it, but like James Franklin said, trying to get to Southern California from freaking State College, did you hear what they had to do?
No.
They had to drive to Harrisburg to fly out.
Seriously, wow.
The State College's airport's runway wasn't big enough. It's too much of a travel. Now, and Bama staying at 7, that's fine. Because, wait, were you done with the running back, the kid from Boise? I don't want to cut you short. I don't want to.
He'll probably win the Heisman if he keeps it up, which he's done so far.
I mean, am I wrong? Is the only non-quarterback to win the Heisman over the past decade is Devontae Smith, right?
What year did Derrick Henry win it? Did Derrick Henry? I thought he did. I'm pretty sure. No, he is a Heisman. Yeah, Derrick Henry won it. What year was that though?
Probably.
Let me see. Derrick Henry.
I'm actually curious about that.
2015. So actually, that is within the last decade.
Yeah. All right. So it's been him and basically just Devontae Smith.
Yeah. And aside from that, it's just quarterbacks.
You think this kid can do it?
Oh, I think so. I mean, hold up. I gotta pull up the stats one more time. I gotta go. All right,
Anthony. Week here. Anthony's getting upset with you now. He wants you to make a case for BYU.
Let me pull up what they who they played, because they probably should. I never said the AP 25 was perfect. I think they're.
No. BYU got in there because they boat raced, and I'm not kidding. They boat raced Kansas State when they played them 41-9. And I'll tell you right now, Kansas State, Austin Johnson, their quarterback is a dual threat monster. He's a sophomore, and he is just one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in college. And BYU boat raced them.
Okay, so you ready for these numbers? So, gonna mind you, hasn't fumbled the ball at all this year. Week 1, 20 carries, 267 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. That was the statement game to open up the season. Then they play Oregon, 25 carries, 192 yards, 3 total touchdowns. Well, 3 rushing touchdowns. Week 3, 11 carries for 127 yards, averaging 11.5 yards per carry. They pulled him out after the first half was over because they were blowing the team out already. The following week, 26 carries, 259 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, averaging 10 yards per carry. Then they play, I think this is Utah State. They took him out after the first half again. He rushed 13 times for 186 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and they were blowing him out, so they pulled him. And then he got to play the whole game against Hawaii, 31 carries, 217 rushing yards, 7-yard per carry average, 1 rushing touchdown. And his longest run of the season was a 77-yarder. His shortest single game run length, I don't know how to explain that, is 54 yards. So, yeah, he averages at least one 50-plus yard running game.
He's going to be an impressive player. You know who else is going to be a really impressive player?
Who's that?
And that would be my screen name.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Kyler Warren. Kyler Warren is the best tight end in college football. This kid can line up anywhere on the field. You want to put him at slot wide receiver? Do it. Tight end? Do it. Fullback? Do it. Running back? Do it. Quarterback? Do it. As a matter of fact, he actually played center this week. Snapped the ball and caught the touchdown pass.
Wow.
Kyler Warren had one of the greatest games in the history of college football for a tight end. 17 catches, 224 yards, and a touchdown. Over a pretty solid USC team, which probably would have cracked the top 25 if they would have won. And it was not the prettiest game. But let me explain something. I cannot tell you how many years have gone by with James Franklin, and Penn State does not win these games. Especially against a team like USC.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm a big James Franklin guy. I give him a lot of flack for not winning big games, but I got to give James Franklin some credit. Since taking over for Penn State, he is literally 94-39.
Wow.
The one thing you can give James Franklin credit for with Penn State, they are consistent. And I'll tell you something. The biggest amount of respect that I will give out of that game was from quarterback Drew Aller. Who did he play his best game? No. He did set a Penn State passing record, though, for yards in the game with 392. Now, he threw 3 interceptions. I don't care about the third one. It was a Hail Mary at the end of the game. No one's going to get I don't care. That don't count to me. But the 2 interceptions he threw, they were not good. They were bad decisions. The second one, his wide receiver wasn't remotely close to being open. But that last drive, I don't know if you saw any of it. That last drive had to have been the most clutch leadership drive I've ever seen, especially when you convert. Because here's the thing. You're getting the football back with 4 minutes, right? Your defense has been playing good in the second half. They only allowed 10 points to the USC in the second half. Remind you this. They were trailing this game 22-6. They could not score in the first half. 4:55 on the clock. Tyler, 4th and 10, right? You could easily just say, oh, we'll try to punt, try to get the football back, right? No. You go for it. Twice. And Julian Fleming, who had one of the worst games of his collegiate career at Penn State this weekend, 2 of the biggest catches in the game, both coming off 4th down. The biggest issue with Penn State this year, we have a great defense, great running backs, good tight end, and finally, I'm praising the God, finally, a caliber quarterback that can play a little bit. We have no wide receivers. Trey Wallace has not separated himself like I thought he would. Fleming is an Ohio State transfer who's still trying to find his way. They're still trying to find out their depth at wide receiver. But those guys made some plays on Saturday that they needed. Not to mention Barker, our new place kicker, which, by the way, we haven't had a kicker in about a decade. But Drew Aller officially took over the leadership role of that Penn State team on Saturday because he willed that team to that win. That was a great game and a great comeback for Penn State, who, by the way, like I said, over the past 5 years, they don't win that game. I don't care if USC is ranked or not. USC is still a good team. They were in the top 25 up until, last week?
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley's a good damn coach, and they had Penn State on the ropes. But Penn State, once again, made their second half adjustments, and I was concerned because they didn't run the ball well. Nick Singleton only had 10 carries. He was hurt. He didn't play against UCLA. I don't know if they were trying to monitor him and keep his touches low to have him ready for Wisconsin, because Wisconsin this week is a scary game. That could be a trap game, because you could be looking ahead to Ohio State, because that's the week after. So I think they were trying to monitor Singleton's touches in this game because he was banged up. But they held him and Kadron Allen down most of the game. And I said it. George and Adam were talking about on Dueling Aces. I did not want to get into a shootout with USC. We ended up doing it, and we ended up winning it. Could I told you I saw that coming? Hell no. But Drew Aller is the best quarterback that Penn State has had since Kerry Collins. And that's a long-ass time ago. Tom Allen's defense in the second half is elite. We have 2 NFL running backs and an NFL-capable tight end. Our offensive line has set the tone for every game, and if we can just get these wide receivers to separate themselves from the pack, Penn State could be in a good spot. And right now they're sitting at number 3, and I'm happy as hell. Now we're going to stay at 3? Probably not. All I know is don't you dare overlook Wisconsin, because Wisconsin's scrappy. I don't like Wisconsin. I don't like going there, because Wisconsin at home is different, and I don't want to play. I'm already not a big fan of having to play this. So, but yeah, another very exciting, another crazy week of college football.
Yeah,
Bama almost lost 2 in a row. Bama almost dropped their second game in a row. They only beat South Carolina by 3.
Yep. South Carolina plays tough.
They do. They really do. Let me see. Is there anything else that we missed about this past week? I still want to know why Miami's sitting at 6. Can somebody try to help me out with this?
No reason they should. They should be
They're
higher.
undefeated. They're 6-0. They're literally 6-0. How are they not in the top 5? By the way, we have some news. Per Ian Rappaport, Darius Slay is day-to-day with his knee injury. That's good news for the Eagles, is it? So Darius Slay will probably be back this week, hopefully. Matt said, so the fan that Nick was talking to at the end of the game just came out and said what happened. Oh, boy, did he. Real quick, also, Anthony said, Abdul Carter is good, but he's not making that number 11 look good. Huh? How is he good, but he's not making...
It's going to be hard for someone to live up to Micah Parsons. That's probably
LeVar Arrington, too.
Yeah.
But guess what? Guess it's coming to Penn State next year.
Who?
Baby Arrington.
Oh.
I believe his son committed to Penn State already, so Baby Arrington's on his way. Anthony has NFL news, Tyler. There you go.
I had that on my phone, too. I was just waiting for you to finish up.
All right, so real quickly, before we get into our last segment, I have it right here. Apparently, we have what happened between Nick Sirianni and the fan.
Yep. I read it.
Do you want to read it real quick?
So apparently, the fan who in question that Sirianni was chirping at, he said it was one of the most awesome moments of his life. Essentially, after their early struggles, during a TV timeout due to injury, he was yelling at Kellen Moore and Nick. He said, if your star running back gets 5 yards on first down, you give it to him again. Run the ball. And then Nick turned around and gestured to him to calm down and said something along the lines of, "We will, don't worry, I'm on it." So fast forward to the end of the game. Apparently Nick came over to the area and began yelling, "I told you we would run, I told you." And apparently that's what that was.
Still doesn't make it look any better.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, how do we know this isn't just a Nick Sirianni burner account? Where's the proof that where's the proof that this is actually the dude? This could just be a Nick Sirianni burner account. Because why did Nick come out and apologize for yelling at the fans? Why couldn't Nick just explain this?
This is so ridiculous. Can we just fire this guy and move on?
I'm over it at this point.
I'm over Nick Sirianni. This doesn't make me feel any better than I did 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But Tyler, we are over 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think it's time for our final segment of the night.
I hope it hits home.
Oh, it will, because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for the segment that we call Hitting Home, which, of course, everybody knows. This is the segment that we have that has some nice baseball news. And, of course, it is hosted by me. So, to wrap up our show tonight, real quickly, Matt said they paid the fan off. They definitely did.
Like I'm saying, we still don't know if it was somebody's burner account. There's no proof that was actually the fan.
Oh, I agree. So, on this little segment of Hitting Home, as everybody knows, the NLCS and the ALCS are currently in full swing. The Mets and the Dodgers are currently tied in their series 1-1. The Yankees and Guardians are kicking off their series tonight, which, if I believe I can check, that game is scoreless in the top of the second. However, this little segment of Hitting Home has to do with the only top two seed that didn't make it to the NLCS, and that is the Philadelphia Phillies. As everyone knows, the Mets eliminated the Phillies last week, 3-1 in the National League Division Series, where, once again, for the third consecutive postseason, the Phillies' bats went as silent as a feather dropping. This is now the third time that this has happened. So a lot of the question going around baseball and around a lot of other areas of the Delaware Valley is, what is next for the only top two seed that didn't make it to the League Championship Series? What is next for the Phillies? I am probably the biggest Phillies fan in this area. I do nothing. I religiously follow this team day in and day out. I go to about 5 to 7 to maybe 10 games a year. I've attended every postseason that they've been back over the past 3 years. So, first of all, a little backstory. This has been happening now for 3 years. This happened in the World Series. In Game 3, they absolutely dominated the freaking Astros, hitting like 7 home runs. The next game, the same damn team, the next day, they were no hit in the World Series. How do you get no hit in the biggest series of the season? Last year, they say it happened in Game 6 and 7. It started in Game 3 against the Diamondbacks. They were throwing the Phillies every pitch outside, sliders, curveballs, everything you could think of on the outside, and they were chasing. Diamondbacks came back to Philly. Phillies' bats went silent. They lost Game 6 and 7 at home and lost the series, and of course, did not make it back to the World Series. This year, same thing. Kyle Schwarber, first 2 at-bats of the series, 2 hits. 0-4 the rest of the series. JT Realmuto, hitless in the series. Brandon Marsh, hitless in the series. So, my answer to the people that want to ask what is next for the Philadelphia Phillies, it is time to revamp the roster. There's too many players on this team that are either head cases or are platoon players. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but they have got to try to find a way to move on from some of these veterans. The first one I go to, it starts with JT Realmuto, who is always labeled as the best catcher in baseball. Well, when you go 0 for 13 in a playoff series, you're not really the best at anything. So, the Phillies need to start.
Well?
What's that?
Was he at least catching the ball well?
No, he actually let 2 pass balls go by in the 6th inning that led to the Francisco Lindor Grand Slam that they'll blame on Jeff Hoffman, but it's okay. We do that here. They have to move on from JT Realmuto, not only because he struggles, because he's a 34-year-old catcher.
Oh. I thought he
who
was young.
missed multiple. He only played in 99 games this year due to lingering knee issues. Last time I checked, aging catcher and knee issues, they don't go together.
Yeah, you kind of use your knees a little bit, just a little.
Yeah. The Phillies have got to get away from this home run or bust lineup. It's like the Warriors. You can't just shoot threes all day and expect to win. Well, you can't just hit home runs every day and expect to win. The Phillies need to find a way to find more hitters that. Hey, Anthony, I honestly, I'd rather see Mets and Yankees. I'd rather see another Subway Series. I don't care about Shohei Ohtani that much. But they have to get away. Now, look, people are concerned about, is this like 2011 again? No, it is not. As long as Bryce Harper is healthy and he is suiting up for the Philadelphia Phillies, they will be a contender. He is still here. Trey Turner is still here. Some of the veterans like Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, and JT, body to me right now. They need guys that put together better at bats and that make better, more consistent contact in terms of getting on base, moving runners, doing all the little things that a baseball team should do. I'm telling you right now, the Mets in Game 1 beat the Phillies 6-2. They scored 5 runs in the 8th inning, not one ball. Not one. One ball in that inning went to the warning track. They move runners. They grind out at bats. They walk. They steal bases. The Phillies do the opposite. They either hit 6 balls into the stands or it's nothing. You got to get away from that approach. They need another starting pitcher. Taijuan Walker's going to get released. Thank heaven. Ranger Suarez's stamina levels to make it through a full season concern me. I still found it funny that he didn't get an in-season extension like Christopher Sanchez did. They'll be your 4-5. Then you have Wheeler Nola. I would like to go add another top-tier arm to put with those two so you can take some of the pressure off of that. The bullpen needs help. Hoffman's a free agent. Alvarado, I could easily see them moving on from. Estevez, I could see them moving on from. I'd rather just bring back Hoffman. He's been so good. I know he had a rough postseason, but welcome to baseball. Shit happens. But all I'll tell you now is this team will look light years different next year. I can see JT Realmuto being gone. I could see Nick Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber being gone. I could even see Brandon Marsh and Alec Bohm being gone because Alec Bohm's a freaking head case in this city. I could see them moving on from some of their younger, controllable players, too. John Middleton is not happy. He has done one mission for this city since 2009. That's to bring that trophy back to Philly. And you got to ask yourself, this is 3 straight years, and it's gotten worse. Lost the World Series. Lost the League Championship Series. Now you're out in the first round. What's next? Eventually, the core that you have just isn't the core that's going to get it done. And as much as we love this team and the vibes and all the, dancing on my own, it's over. 3 years, 3 failed attempts. They're going to revamp this roster. They're going to switch it up. And hopefully they look better at doing it because I see a lot of turnover coming for this roster next year. A lot. But that's my hitting home segment for the week. Major changes coming in Philadelphia. So, it's not a... No, Clint, they had the second best record. The Dodgers beat them. Yes, but that's not the point. The point is, and Clint, they had the best record in baseball up until June. But when they got to after the London series, they played 500 baseball. They were 30 games over 500 up until about June or July. They played 500 baseball after that. And it's the same thing. The bats went silent. They were not scoring runs. It's either home run or bust with this team. And let me tell you now, I don't care about launch angles and exit velocity. Oh, well, this guy hit a fly ball to left field. He hit it to the wall at 120 miles an hour. Yeah, and he flied out to left field. Out. Who cares? And Anthony says, last question. Is Kevin Stefanski on the hot seat for his coaching or Watson making him look bad? You cannot blame Kevin Stefanski for what the heck is going on there.
I'm going to say this. With the Browns, they are a better run-first team. If they can get their offensive line healthy, They get Nick Chubb back. Things could turn around for them. Now, honestly, Deshaun Watson might be a gone deal at this point. I don't know if there's any recovering from Deshaun Watson. But I think getting your offensive line healthy, getting Nick Chubb back, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they should just toss Winston in there and see what happens. It's not going to be a long-term solution, but
they won't do that because the Browns gave him that money and the ownership wants him to play because they paid him all that money.
The ownership's stupid. They should be fired.
Yeah. What's up, Burnsy? David Burns is in here. Burnsy, you came at the end of the show. But real quickly, Clint also said the owner is too stubborn to admit he made a mistake. See, exactly what I said.
Yep.
And then, so they keep going to play. Yeah, they're going to keep playing him because he should have been benched 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But in other words, do we have anything else we want to talk about? Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think we talked about a lot.
We covered a lot. Basketball season's upon us. College football's peaking. NFL football's driving us nuts. And the Phillies can't hit a freaking breaking ball. Life is good. And Penn State won a big game for the first time in like a decade. No, that's not fair. They did win a big game at Iowa. This was probably the biggest game they won since Iowa in 2017 when they walked them off. That was a good game. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the show for tonight. Want to thank everybody for commenting with us tonight, from Zolt, Georgie, Clint. Good seeing you in the comments, brother. Thank you for showing the support tonight. Burnsy, Anthony, as always, Matt, you guys were awesome tonight. Glad you guys all joined the show and made it fun to talk about the sports. Had a nice basketball talk, college football, the NFL, a little bit of baseball here toward the end. Next week, we will have some more NBA preview as we'll be previewing the Western Conference. And, of course, I believe we'll have a From the Pit segment next Monday, right, Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
We have some actually breaking news when it comes to soccer, and we'll talk about that later because it has something to do with somebody on the show. But we'll save that for next week. So, guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, everybody who commented in and made the show fun as always. We always enjoy talking to you guys. You guys make the show as fun as it is. Thank you, Clint. Clint said great show. And like
up, commenting with us.
And one last comment for the road. Burnsy said, my fellows had to finish up online schooling for college. I'm so sorry I came to chat late. My son, hey, Burnsy, that's the good old point of 609 Sports Talk. You can go back and watch the episode later.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have them on the Facebook page. You can go back and watch it later. Good old entertainment for later tonight. But guys, thank you so much for everyone again. And, of course, for any of our friends that are interested in more sports chat, I'm sure Georgie and our friends over at the Dueling Aces are probably getting ready to start off their show. So go check them out on later tonight. You get a nice Monday doubleheader with them and us. So, guys, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of it. Stay warm for anyone in this area tomorrow because it's going to drop like 20 degrees. And we will see you guys next Monday. Penn State's number 3. Eagles are annoying us. It's a good time, isn't it? 4. Wait, what'd you say?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Thanks, Burnsy. Burnsy said great show as well. Thank you, Burnsy. All right, guys. We're going to head up on out of here. Have a safe week. We'll see you next Monday. For Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.